Are you at the point now, because the way I think the tenor is starting to change is decided favorite to get to the Super Bowl, to win the Super Bowl, however you want to look at it, for a year in which I don't know if it's like mediocrity, that's not the way I would describe it, but there's a huge wash of teams in the NFL.
Yeah.
Bills have come back to the pack. Everybody in the NFC's all in a pack together. Like, for instance, you had mentioned the Chiefs are the 8th seed. They're one record point different. If they had one more win and one less loss, so 5-2 instead of 4-3, they'd be the 2 seed. So, like, it's not like there's not some big grouping together. I am firmly now in the belief, Gold, that they are probably deserving of being the prohibitive favorite to being the number 1 seed. They can score. They can play defense. They've been to the Super Bowl the last 3 years in a row. Patrick Mahomes is playing at an MVP level. And now they look like the kind of team who doesn't want to lose ever again. And so the more and more I look at it, the more I'm starting to be convinced, Gold, that this is a team deserving of being the prohibitive favorite to return to the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl, however you want to look at it. They like not just like the odds-on favorite, big-time favorite is how I'm starting to feel.
Yeah, look, I think, I don't know, as far as being the big favorite and all that, I don't know if necessarily I think that's where they should be yet, based off of, I just saw Detroit bounce back in a pretty impressive way yesterday after losing to Kansas City. I think, the Rams continued to show plenty of signs of being a legitimate threat. Now, those are NFC
lots
teams.
Of good teams, yeah.
On the AFC side, yeah, the Chiefs should clearly be the favorite out of the NFC, even though they sit at 4 out of the AFC. Yeah, as they sit at the 4-3 and currently outside the playoff field. That, to me, is very, very clear. And I thought Colin Cowherd was correct. There's a lot of times when we play clips from his show or others, we're like, okay, this is ridiculous. And he, even before the season, of course, picked the Chargers to win the division, as I think he does every year. But I thought he nailed this kind of description of where we're at with the Chiefs now, which is a lot of teams had a chance to catch up to them when they were down. And it was looking like you could maybe even, quote-unquote, bury them and all that. And now it's too late.
I don't feel bad for the Chargers or Baltimore or Joe Burrow and the Bengals, although he's hurt this year. All these teams had a chance. Kansas City was 3-3. They didn't have Rice. They didn't have Worthy. This was your time to make up ground on them. But right now, Kansas City's not only back, I think they're better than ever. They have drafted so well. This is the deepest, twitchiest, most unique wide receiving core, the best play designer, the best distributor. I watched yesterday, and, it was like Mahomes was in a baseball cap in the fourth quarter. It's like they pulled their starting pitcher after a great two-hitter, and he had a 6-run lead in the 7th inning, and he sat in the dugout, and watched. But I don't see a hole. I said this a month ago when they clobbered the Ravens. Everybody said, oh, the Ravens are beat up. That's not what I watched. Right now, they just keep adding elements. And
And you went on from there. I totally agree. We've mentioned some of those things, but you're even starting to get some of the national talking heads on board with stop moving the goalposts. As he said, after the Ravens game, people moved the goalposts. They of course lost to Jacksonville on the road. Everybody's like, wait a second, maybe they're not actually back. Then they did to Detroit. And look what, as you said, Detroit just did last night. And then the Raiders, I don't care how bad the Raiders are, an NFL team lost 31-0.
Here's what stands out to me about this team and why I'm saying heavy favorite, not just favorite. They have blown out 3 of their last 4 opponents. They kicked Baltimore's ass, Detroit's, and Vegas's. They won all 3 of those games by 2 touchdowns. And in the Raiders' case, obviously, by 4.5 touchdowns or whatever. It ended up being, and that Ravens game wasn't even as close as the 37-20 score it was on paper. They were up 14-0 on Jacksonville. Washington, a projected playoff team still, despite their injuries, they're a 10-point favorite against this weekend. I think the bookmakers have started to treat them like they're a team that is going to be double-digit favorites against some teams in the NFL, and even still solid favorites against teams that we think are good. At Buffalo, they're currently a favorite.
As they should be.
At Denver, they're a favorite. At home versus Indianapolis, these are teams with
they'll be favorites
better records with
they'll
them.
be favorites in every game the rest of the way.
But in games where they're facing Houston, like a fringe, not a like a fringe team, right? Not a good team, but like a mediocre team. Or Los Angeles, they're going to start being touchdown favorites against average NFL teams. 10-point, 12-point favorites against bad NFL teams. The league knows, and it's not just about the odds, but the league knows what we know. They're not just starting to win. they are starting to destroy some opponents. Destroyed New York in the second half, blew out Baltimore, blew out Detroit, blew out Vegas. Jacksonville's the one outlier. And again, we would all be saying what I'm saying, what you're saying now, if they had just won the Jags game and not let that one slip away in weird fashion, because then they would be winners of 5 in a row.
5-2
with
right now.
4 blowouts, right? Or 3 blowouts, a pretty easy win against the New York Giants, and a close one against maybe a division winner on the road against Jacksonville. So, like, if they continue down this path, they're going to start looking like a team that every week is like, can we just stay in the game? Can we keep it close against Kansas City? Because the last couple of teams haven't been able to do that.
No, and
everyone but Jacksonville.
Since starting 0-2, I mean, everybody's catching on here. Since starting 0-2, the Chiefs are the most bet team right now, at BetMGM at least, and I think some other books as well, to win the Super Bowl. Like, this is why they're the favorite, by the way. That's how the whole thing works. That's why they're also favorites. They went 4 of their last 5 games, sure, but that was an opportunity. We looked at the AFC West odds at the time. We looked at win total stuff. You could have got the Chiefs at plus money to get to 10 or 11 wins when they were 0-2, when they had just lost even to Jacksonville. You could still get them at plus money, and now they're back to being where you're going to get minus money for them to get to 12 wins. Like, most people now think they're getting to 12.
Which is crazy because they already have 3 losses.
Yep.
So it's like, well, I bet them when they got down to, of course, I do anytime. The Chiefs get down to 10.5. I'll just tell you right now, I get on my app and I immediately go find somebody who will take my bet. Because, and the only time it's only half burned me once. And that was 2 years ago when they got to 11 wins, when I bet them at 11.5. And then when they got down to 10.5, I bet them again. And it ended up being a wash for the 2 bets because they got to 11 wins. Every other time, this comes out clean for me because when they get down and you start doubting them, it looks the opposite. The thing, again, that stands out is that, and we'll talk about this a little bit later on in the show, maybe after Vinny, if you just look at where they rank amongst top teams on offense, top teams on defense, talent, like where they only have one, I think, obvious deficiency. They have at least a mediocre running game, based on yards per game, better than that, but a mediocre running game. And if I factor in Patrick Mahomes' game, being a part of that, maybe a little better, they are, and that's not a deficiency, I just call that like medium. They have a really good offensive line. They have a really good secondary, good linebackers, good wide receivers. I mean, like, they are balanced.
The only debate would be the pass rush. And
that's
what
it.
they do
That's
there.
The
and then if you're concerned at all with the depth, where you're on the offensive line, but I'll tell you this, any team in the NFL, if they lose a left tackle or a right tackle, they're in trouble. Any team. Most teams, the Chiefs were fortunate. They signed Jalen Moore because they thought
can't afford to lose one now.
But I would say they're already down to their second left tackle, and he was a guy they were confident in starting if they had to and couldn't draft Josh Simmons and Jalen Moore. And so any other team, look what's happened with the Chargers. I mean, if you lose a left tackle or right tackle, no team usually has a fallback plan. That's all that good. So as much as I'll say, the depth of the O-line, I'm really not concerned about that. That applies to every other team in the league. And even Trey Smith, who we'll talk about more later today, if he had to miss a game, we don't know if he is. He's got a back problem. We all saw that.
But he's got an extra day.
But maybe that helps. His is not a long-term injury, even if he were to have to miss a game. We'll ask Nate Taylor about what he's hearing maybe on the Trey Smith stuff coming up in the 1 o'clock hour. But, yeah, the Chiefs are, I mean, we keep saying that the Chiefs are back, and everybody else in the league has recognized that now. Even the Dan Orlovskis of the world. Last night I heard talking on the Monday Night Football broadcast saying outside of Detroit, I think he said he thinks the Chiefs are the best team in football.
There's no good way to research it. Outside
the Colts, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I would love to find another time in the last 20 years in the NFL in which after 7 weeks of the NFL season, a team who is currently in 8th place is everyone's decided favorite to win the Super Bowl, right? Like that just seems silly, Gold. There's like, and the playoffs don't start after 7 weeks, and we know that. They wouldn't even be in the field if the playoffs started today. And it doesn't concern me even a little bit. People could try to come and be like, you're getting the playoffs first, and be like, come on, man, I don't care about that right now. I got plenty of weeks left. And they have a difficult schedule ahead. I was surprised to see, and this is what making me think about it more, even though there's an uncertainty about Jaden Daniels, although I think they're playing it coy and that Jaden Daniels will most likely be available. We'll see. Even though they're playing it coy with Jaden Daniels, I'm surprised how big of a favorite they are. I know that the Washington Commanders haven't looked like a world beater of a team, But like, if you would have told me before the season started that going into the game, they were 9.5-point favorite against that team, I'd be like, what?
Oh, well,
what the hell went right?
No kidding. Yeah. I mean, I absolutely. Yeah. The Commanders, that was the game I told you on the schedule. I was at preseason, I was most excited about because I've seen the divisional games and all that. The Commander, Jaden Daniels versus Mahomes, was a game I was looking forward to. Now we may not get Jaden Daniels. We'll see if Mariota ends up playing or not as we get closer to Monday night. And where his knee and hamstring, I think it is as well, is at. But you're right. I mean, that's a massive spread, although the Commanders have not been all that impressive. They just haven't. Their defense is a problem. We just saw what the Cowboys' offense did against them.
They just had another big offensive. Their best defensive lineman just got hurt.
Yep. And then offensively, they've been without Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel the last couple weeks. So it's something to watch on the injury front. But yes, the Commanders' game does not look as daunting as we all thought it was going to be.
I will say, I was thinking more about the league last night as we're watching the Seattle Seahawks clearly be one of the, I'll just say a number that nobody will disagree with, top 10 teams in the league. I would argue certainly higher than that. I think they've got their place amongst the top 5 to 7 teams in the NFL if you're making an argument for him. And watching Sam Darnold now go to a second stop in which he's having success. And the more I was thinking about this, and this more applies to second contracts, because you know my general rule of thumb is that you shouldn't keep messing with young quarterbacks and changing their quarterback or their coach the first year after, and teams keep doing this, and I don't understand. It's that the number 1 overall pick 4 times in a row has lost their coach in the middle of their rookie season, and I don't understand how this keeps happening. But the more I think about veteran contracts, especially guys who get contracts in their second deal, why are they shipping these guys out of town rather than finding a coach who works for them? So, for instance, Sam Darnold obviously can work, depending on the coach you give him. You give him the guy, you give McDonald in Seattle, you give him O'Connell in Minnesota, it works. You give Joe Flacco, for instance, right? At least like a medium-level head coach in the time he's been around. He's not a great example, but Daniel Jones for the Colts right now. It wasn't working with Dable. Had they just gotten rid of Dable and hired a head coach who knew what he was doing, they might have been able to both have the quarterback and the coach and start winning right now. When those like veteran guys that you gave a contract to, some of the guys that I'm saying don't pay at all, let's say Tua, before you run Tua out of town, which is what happens, they run both out of town or they run the quarterback out of town first and say, oh, we don't have a quarterback, we can't figure it out. Are you sure you shouldn't just change coach and find that there might be a guy who matches up well with him? Baker, not Carson Wentz, Baker, Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold. I think those are the best examples of this.
So it's definitely a recent phenomenon with guys going to other places and having success, and a couple of them involved the New York Jets, so that organization just might be cursed. Yeah. We will talk to our NFL insider, Vinnie Pasquantino, about this.
Even Mac Jones is making me think that.
Yeah, so Sam Darnold is in a West Coast system now. He obviously was with Kevin O'Connell a year ago in Minnesota. Now he's with McDonald and Gary Kubiak. Clint Kubiak, sorry.
Clint Kubiak.
I guess that's his dad. Clint,
you went way back in the time machine.
Kubiak.
Gary Kubiak.
Yeah, that's his dad. Clint Kubiak in Seattle. So, yeah, it's all about scheme, and he's comfortable in it. I will say, though, on the flip side, at the time, though, we would all agree, Sam Darnold had 3 years with the Jets. Nobody was saying he needed to have a 4th year with a new head coach. So I don't want to be hindsight's 20/20 on this a little bit. Yes, Sam Darnold was clearly a system.
But in retrospect, maybe that would have worked.
Maybe so, but I'm just the same thing is happening. You know, you brought up Tua. The same thing happening there. Is anybody saying that Tua just needs a new head coach?
But I'm not. No one is. But I'm saying maybe they should be. Maybe there is something there with Tua. The issue is the head coach. And he's already paid. So like before you just wash him out of town, I would maybe find out.
They have to hold on to him. I mean, they have to hold on to him for a year or so because he's paid. I guess to me, we can't have it both ways because you and I have had many a conversation about like all that that guy stinks. Don't pay him and all this. Move on. And now we're saying maybe they should give the guy an extra year or two. It can't be both though. Is all I'm saying.
I'm not saying. And look, this is difficult because I'm definitely not saying like pay him and then figure it out with a new head coach. This is in the circumstance where you're already running into a situation where maybe you did pay the guy or didn't want to pay the guy. I understand it's tough for the rookie. It's tough for the rookie. You get 3 years of Sam Darnold. I'll say this. Before I ran him out for year 4, just cut his ass, I probably would bring in a different guy. Then that's different than after 16 months, we run Eberflus out, and we knew we were going to pre-fire him, and we only give him a year anyway, or less than a year in some cases, and then run him out of town, versus we did 3 years of Darnold. It's not working. Before I just ran Darnold out of town, I do think I would try with a new head coach and find out if there is some juice there. Because it turns out with a number of these guys in the league. There is a little juice.
There's no doubt that Baker's had success after leaving Cleveland, Darnold after leaving the Jets, Geno after leaving the Jets. That is all very, very true. I would still say, though, in the NFL where you would say this, let's say that take the Chiefs are a terrible example here right now in their current history, but they don't
have a good example of any time in history, probably.
Yeah, I mean, Chicago, their general manager currently Ryan Poles, drafted Caleb Williams. They kept Eberflus for the 1 year. We all thought that was silly.
Now, I would have just started with the head coach to begin with, sure.
So, in that scenario, we all said, hey, they should have got rid of the head coach to begin with.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's just say they had their head coach, and they had a head coach in place. It went 3 years in, and Caleb Williams didn't look good. What I'm saying is
the
in that
GM
scenario,
here's the reason why it's a problem and why it doesn't work this way in the NFL, though, is like the GM would be fired in that scenario. And I'd have to go back and look at the Jets, the 3 years Darnold was there. My guess is, without looking it up, that after Darnold got 3 years, they probably also fired the GM at the same time. Because the GM, quote unquote, failed by hiring.
And this goes back to the same thing, which is the GM doesn't want that quarterback. That's not his guy. And so he's got to run him out of town.
I think
and we got to go to this thing. He was there for 3 years. He was a full-time starter for 3 years.
The example, I think, to me, that maybe is next to match that, and again, he'd have to be successful, but it feels like Bryce Young is that guy, Cody, where...
But they just screwed it up by, obviously, firing. He'd be on coach 3. But yeah, I get your point.
Who was the coach when he came into Carolina?
Frank Wright.
He didn't even make it a full year.
Okay, so Dave Canales was there, and obviously,
this is the problem.
So it's a little bit different than,
I would say start
than the
fresh
other
gold and then
ones.
consider it.
But I think you're right to the point of, because Tua, it's hard with Tua because Tua, he's had some success, but where I think Sam Darnold didn't have any success.
It's terrible.
Baker didn't have any success. Where I think Daniel Jones didn't really have any success. Where I think Bryce Young fits that grouping a little bit more, where maybe if you're Bryce Young, I don't know, if we go based on the trend, let's say the Panthers like, you know what, we're not paying Bryce Young, we're going to let him leave. And then he goes, I don't know, anywhere and figures it out and has success. Then he would fall into that category of guys that you're talking about.
Gold, to your point, I think part of the issue we're running into is not just the GM. It's that they're unwilling to make the move before. So I looked up Sam Darnold's time. He had the exact same problem these other quarterbacks would have. They gave him a year of Adam Gase, then brought in a new head coach. And so there's not room in the contract for what I'm saying, which is if there's 2-3 full years of it not working with a guy, or let's say it is working, then you sign him to a contract, and in the Daniel Jones case, now it's not what's wrong. It seems like they side with run everybody out of town versus, wait, there was something with Darnold that was working. What happened? What changed? Let's get a quarterback in a system that fits this person, that works, and then we might be able to do both. It just feels like something nobody's trying yet.
Yeah, look, these guys were drafted as high as they were for a reason. Clearly, people saw talent. It wasn't, the Jets may have drafted Sam Darnold, but somebody else was going to draft him right after if they did. You know what I mean? So there's clearly the talent is there. Who can unlock that talent, make them feel comfortable? There's also the reality of Sam Darnold, 7 years now or 6 years into his career, he's just a better quarterback because he's older and is seen more and all that. Like,
sure, that could be the case.
Some of that is that, and nobody with a team that drafts him gets 6 years to figure it out. It's just not how the NFL works, unfortunately. It's just how sports work. You don't get 6 years as a starting quarterback to figure it out. If not, you're going to be somewhere else. You're going to have to figure it out. And we're talking, as great as the story is for Mac Jones right now, Darnold, Baker, Geno, although he's playing terrible now, but
Baker's
he's still
crazy. He was just a free agent for $5 million. He was available on the street.
I still want to. These are outliers, though. Like, I don't want to act like this could be happening. There's
I would say
some
starting
quarterbacks
like an
also,
outlier when it's 10% of the starting NFL quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, but do you think Zach Wilson, if he gets a shot somewhere else, is going to be good?
No, I don't. I'm not.
I think Bryce Young would be the guy that you would say right now. He would be the guy that you would pick. If he went somewhere else, maybe he's the person who has not looked good really at all, shown signs. If he went somewhere else, maybe it works out.
There's some guys that just stink, right? Like Jamarcus Russell, that was on him, right? We all agree.
Yeah.
Josh Rosen was not going to be successful somewhere else.
But there are plenty of quarterbacks that you do go back in time, probably 20, 30 years, and you wonder, man, if he was drafted somewhere else, what would his career have looked like? I think there's always, I call them outliers, but I think there's sometimes where the dude just didn't have it. It just wasn't that kind of guy that we all thought he was going to be when he came out of college.
We're just at an unprecedented level of 10 to 15% of the starting NFL quarterbacks in the league who look good were drafted by somebody else and actively playing for another team. The old adage used to be you can't find a quarterback somewhere else because those guys are gone. They're not available. They stay with the teams that are good. And we're seeing like kind of an inverse of that at the moment.
It's interesting. It's awesome to see for some of these guys. I mean, Baker Mayfield's career he's gonna end up with a really, really nice career when it's all said and done. I mean, it's possibly an MVP.
He is one of the most interesting stories in NFL history. He was drafted by the worst franchise in the NFL. Couldn't make it work there because they're run terribly. He took a 1-year deal with the Panthers where it went kind of bad. And he was just there. And then he was just on the street. Bucks paid him $5 million to come in because Tom Brady retired. And they thought, we'll take a shot. They didn't pay him any real money. He was in an open quarterback competition with a guy's name I can't even remember. Do you guys remember who it was?
Kyle Trask, maybe?
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. He was in an open quarterback competition with Kyle Trask.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's
What the
definitely...
job?
Wasn't he in Carolina with Sam Darnold, too?
Yeah.
Weren't they
Darnold
both
was
together
in
at the same
Carolina.
time?
Yeah.
See, that's the other part of this conversation that's interesting, too, because it's not as
just
simple
about
as...
teams.
It's not as simple as Sam Darnold left the Jets and then went to Minnesota. No, he was also in Carolina for a little bit,
They
as
went to
you
San
said.
Francisco for a year.
Yes.
The lesson here
Because they showed his timeline last night.
The lesson here is don't be a quarterback for the Panthers or the Jets. Just don't go to those two
Or
franchises.
Browns.
Go anywhere else.
So as much as we can cite that, like look at Justin Fields. He was drafted by Chicago. Then he went to Pittsburgh. Now he's with the Jets. And nope, he's been with 3 teams. Is it him or is it the teams? He's been with 3 teams and he's very
It's
below
probably
average.
more him now, obviously, than it is
Definitely.
the teams. As soon as you get 2 or 3 shots and it's still bad,
working.
then yeah.
All right, let's talk more NFL, including a little bit about the Jets. And Vinnie Pasquantino made his national, I don't know if it was his debut, but certainly was on
Been multiple days there.
TV for longer than he's ever been on TV before. Our NFL insider, Vinnie Pasquantino, joins us next.
You're listening to Cody and Gold. Tune in for the Chiefs Red Half Hour every day, starting at 11:30 right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Looking to drive your finances downfield? Main Street Credit Union is the hometown team you can trust. We help you build credit, lower monthly expenses, and finance with confidence. Or if you need a loan to grow your small business, we've got flexible options and no hidden fees. At Main Street, it's not just about the win, it's about keeping Kansas City moving forward. One goal, 1 yard, 1 member at a time. Get in the game at mainstreetcu.org.
Airman here for Midwest Heating. Now, we like to approach life in a lighthearted manner, but with the projected rise in natural gas prices, this winter's heating bills may be no joking matter. Many old furnaces have efficiency ratings as low as 60%, which means you're literally burning money. So think about this. Midwest Heating has a variety of high-efficiency Lennox systems that can heat your home, drastically improve your air quality, and boost that efficiency as high as 99%. Saving that kind of money each month will be a nice help for the other bills in your life. Even better, Midwest offers up to $1,800 in rebates on qualifying Lennox home comfort systems and up to 60-month 0% financing with approved credit. Dial 943-8787 or go to MidwestHeating.com for complete details. Now, for 7 decades, it's the same story. Trust your air to the best. Midwest. Midwest Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Man, if your stream isn't as strong as it used to be, or you're taking more breaks to the bathroom than the last 2 minutes of a televised football game,
There's another timeout. We'll be back after this.
it's time to get checked. An enlarged prostate, or BPH, could be the cause. And Kansas City Urology Care is here to help. Fast answers, trusted care. Don't wait. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC. Kansas City, it's time to turn up the heat. The Westport Sunfresh is back and better than ever. Now proudly part of the Cosentino Food Stores family. We're celebrating with a re-grand opening you won't want to miss. That means 3 full weeks of hot savings on the freshest produce, premium meats, and all your grocery favorites. Come experience the new and improved Westport Sunfresh, your neighborhood store, now with even more local love. Located in the heart of Westport, only at Cosentino's Westport Sunfresh.
Engines rumble, tires smoke, and And the barbecue's fired up with Boost and Barbecue. This Friday and Saturday at Flying H Drag Strip in Odessa. See the fastest streetcars in the world battle it out on the strip, plus burnouts. A huge barbecue competition, car show, and kids zone. Kids 12 and under get in free. Then Saturday night, country star Chris Jansen takes the stage live. It's 2 full days of racing, music, and mouth-watering fun you won't want to miss. Get your tickets now at boostandbarbecue.com.
I'm Scott Hansen, host of NFL Red Zone. Lowe's knows Sundays are for football. That's why we're here to help you get your next DIY project done, even when the clock isn't on your side. Whether that's a new Filtrete filter or Bosch and Cobalt power tools, Lowe's has everything you need to feel like the MVP of DIY. So get it done and earn your Sunday. Shop now in-store and online. Lowe's, official partner of the NFL.
Spreadsheets, clunky software, 100 different logins just to run your business? Ah.
There's a better way. Odoo. One simple, connected platform that handles sales, inventory, accounting, and more. So you can focus on growing, not juggling. Make the switch today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. Also that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Morning, Zoe. Got donuts.
Jeff Bridges, why are you still living above our garage?
Well, I dig the mattress, and I want to be in a T-Mobile commercial like you. Teach me, Saldana.
Oh, no, I'm not really prepared. I couldn't possibly. At T-Mobile, get the new iPhone 17 Pro on them. It's designed to be the most powerful iPhone yet and has the ultimate pro camera system.
Wow, impressive. Let me try. T-Mobile is the best place to get iPhone 17 Pro because they've got the best network.
Nice, Jeffrey.
You heard them. T-Mobile is the best place to get the new iPhone 17 Pro on us with eligible trade-in in any condition.
So, what are we having for lunch?
Dude, my work here is done.
With 24 monthly bill credits on Experience Beyond for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Finance agreement iPhone 17 Pro 256 gigs, $1,099.99 and new line minimum $100 plus a month plan with auto pay plus taxes and fees required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data 1/8/2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this. He's a husband, a dog dad, a first baseman, and a fantasy football commissioner.
Being a commissioner for the league is tough, and I'm really excited. I'm wearing a suit today.
He also likes to fill the bathtub with hard work and Jets tears.
I can't take any more disappointment. That's what he used to say when we watched the Jet games together.
But his most important job is being a Vin FL insider.
I haven't enjoyed a football season since 1969.
On 96.5 The Fan, here's Vinnie Pasquantino.
We are going to be joined by Vinnie Pasquantino in just a second. I want to get his thoughts a little bit on the baseball postseason. World Series matchup is set, and, of course, talk plenty of NFL. And we'll start our conversation with Vinny after he was on national television all week long there in New York City, suited up. He had I know Bobby was giving you a hard time for having the suit button and everything, but you look sharp, man. How was it?
Oh, it was great. I had a blast. I had a really good time, and then I'm heading up to Toronto tomorrow night to work the World Series a little bit.
Hey!
Oh, what do you work it in what capacity?
I'll be an MLB correspondent for the league, so I'll be doing some media day stuff.
Nice.
And then I'll be at Game 1. I think I'm doing like post-game interviews with some players and things like that.
That's awesome, I guess. Congrats for starters.
Thank you.
But also, did you buy a fresh suit just to go on TV? New suits?
No. Surprisingly, I had a few suits. So, no, those were suits that I had. One of them was, I actually can't remember why I had the first one. The last one I bought in London a few years ago, and the second one I bought earlier this year for some flights. So I was ready to go. But, yeah, Bob made sure to let me know that I need to unbutton that thing.
I did see I think it was on Instagram where he made that post as well. What was I'm just curious, what was take us behind the scenes, though, of going on the show and everything. So did you have a meeting about what you guys were about to do, like a normal show? What was the setup for you all week?
Yeah, so I was basically in the green room all week. I'd get the shows from 3 to 6. I would come up. I would go on a little after 4 most days, so I'd get there around 1:32. I'd get prepped. They have full wardrobe department. A lady named Christine, she was awesome. She helped me with all my outfits and everything like that. I would talk to the first day I met with Nick for like an hour. We talked about, kind of how we wanted the show to look that week. And so I met with him. I met with Danny Parkins a few times. So a few Kansas City people.
Yeah.
Which I had to let them know that I do this show once a week. Because that's where they worked, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Danny did a show with Carrington. And I'm not sure what Nick did, but obviously some Kansas City roots, which was pretty cool. So and then, I'd get prepped with the microphone, everything like that. And during commercial breaks would go take my spots.
How was the craft services situation? Good snack situation?
I didn't eat once while I was there. So I'd eat before I'd go in.
I didn't know. Were you too nervous or you just didn't want to?
They had food options. No, I wasn't nervous at all, surprisingly. You guys have prepped me for years.
There you go. There you go.
Just doing TV.
Was it just you just didn't want to you didn't want to ruin the clothes? You didn't want to have something in your teeth? What was it?
No, I just wasn't hungry because I had the mornings to myself, so I'd eat. Ready to go.
We're going to ask you about the NFL as well, but the World Series matchup was set last night. What do you make of Dodgers and Blue Jays?
I think it'll be a fun series. There's a lot of fun tweets going around about how Ohtani's on a plane to Toronto, which is fun. If you get that reference from John Morello years ago. Interesting for the Dodgers because they just had to sit at home yesterday and kind of wait, whether they would be hosting games 1 and 2 or have to go to Toronto. So I'm sure they would have rather, for travel purposes, I'm sure they would have rather it been Seattle. But I think these are the two best teams right now. Obviously, they're the final two standing. I think it'll be a pretty good matchup. I think it's good for baseball that it's these two teams.
Why do you think it's good for baseball that it's these two in particular?
Well, I think as a player, you like to see the teams that spend. If it can't be your team, you'd rather it be the teams that are paying players to make it to the end. So obviously the Dodgers do it, and the Blue Jays, just coming off that extension for Vlad where they went up to $500 million for him. And, I could have made the same argument for Seattle too. At the deadline, they went really hard to get Josh Naylor, to get Eugenio Suarez, to get these guys. So you like to see that as a player, that the teams that are making the big moves are the ones that are standing at the end if it's not your own team.
As a player, what's it like? I mean, you've gone up against Shohei, you've seen him in person, but what's it like seeing him do what he did last week, and obviously 3 for 3, 3 homers, 10 strikeouts, 6 innings. As a sports fan, whereas I've never seen anything like it in my life, you played the exact same sport as him. So what's that like to take in?
Yeah, it's just insane. And it's not often that in baseball you can win a National League Championship MVP in one game, but it was pretty much earned with 3 homers and pitching the way he did. So, yeah, I mean, that's just an incredible game. Probably the best game by an individual ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just crazy the things that he can do. The fact that team is full of stars and he's still the one that gets talked about nonstop is crazy. So it's not that he's playing a different game, but boy, he is something special. That's for sure.
Vinny, if they made you pitch for 30 starts, what would your ERA be?
Probably like a sub-2.
What's your fastball coming in these days?
Ooh, good question. Probably low 80s, but it moves a lot. So I'm going to make it tough on guys.
Yeah, break. You get a lot of break. Let's move to the NFL side. Nick Wright did what we tried to do earlier in the week. on Tuesday, we said a very similar thing to you. Are you ready to quit on your Jets yet?
I'm never going to quit on them. I'm never going to quit on the Jets. That is a guarantee. However, it's time to probably start shifting my focus a little bit into seeing more red.
I like it. I like that thought. You sound just like there was, I don't know if you saw the viral video, there was a Jets fan leaving the game. You know which one I'm talking about, I think.
Probably got sent to you.
Yeah, because the kid was basically like, I hate this team, but I'm still a Jets fan.
Yeah, that was tough. That's a tough video. That got sent to me probably 100 times yesterday. From a whole cast of characters. Got it from Tommy Pham, got it from a few different people. So, yeah, that kid is speaking the truth. It is tough right now. And, you know, at this point, you're kind of hoping they get the number one pick. I don't know who they would take at this point, but there's a lot of 1-6 teams around, too. So I would imagine if I know the Jets, they'll be picking around 4 this year. They'll make sure that they don't do a rebuild right, too.
When you get to the rest of the NFL, we know the Chiefs are one of the best teams in the league. I want to ask you about a couple teams people aren't as sure about. The New England Patriots. You've seen them, Drake May. Where do you put them amongst the top teams in the AFC? Do they deserve to be a part of that Bills conversation? Used to be the Ravens, not this year at the moment. The upper end of the AFC?
Yeah, I would think so at this point. And they've got the coach. Seems like they've got the quarterback. They've got some pretty good weapons, play good defense. So it's a solid team. And they went to Buffalo and beat Buffalo up there. So it's not an easy place to go and win. So it seems like they do belong in that category.
We'll get your top 5 teams, the latest top 5 teams in the NFL here in just a second as we're talking to our VNFL insider, Vinnie Pasquantino. Kansas City, Vinny's coming off a 31-0 beatdown of the Raiders. That's now 3 straight weeks. They're 28, I guess, against Jacksonville, but they're averaging essentially over 30 points a game here the last 4 weeks, and the offense and the whole team seems like they're back to being that dominant force. Do you believe that they should be what they are right now, which is the Super Bowl favorites?
Yeah, which is crazy to be the Super Bowl favorite, and if the season ended today, wouldn't even be in the playoffs.
Right, I know.
Right?
Like, yeah, they're the 8th seed right now.
Like, I'm thinking about my top 5 list, and there's no way I can't include them. And then I'm like, wait a minute, they're not in the playoffs at this moment. But obviously, right, they're going to be in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. But it's just kind of crazy to think that. I mean, they're having fun on offense again. That's probably fun for you guys to watch. Feels like it's been a few years where it's been a little bit grindy on offense. But now they're having fun. They're doing Mahomes is yelling at the sidelines and then calling the play. That's fun. Look at you guys just having a good time again.
Did you ever? That always stands out, by the way. That's when you know the Chiefs are rolling, Vinny. When they start picking on teams, they're doing ring around the rosy or whatever. That's when it's usually good.
Yeah, when they start messing around, that's when they get scary. So yeah, they're really good. They're in the top 5 for sure. They deserve to be the Super Bowl favorite because who in the AFC you think's going to beat them right now?
No, I think
even if they got to go to their place.
I think that's fair. You brought up the acting from Patrick Mahomes there at the line of scrimmage. I'm just trying to think, do you wish in baseball you guys were able to do a little bit more of that? Just messing around and just kind of toying with the opponent?
Yeah, I don't even know if there's an opportunity.
Hidden ball trick is all you got, I think.
Hidden ball trick. Sometimes I get to talk to guys at first and we'll pick them off. Other than that, there's not really any opportunity for it.
Do you try to mess with them, distract them with the things you're saying? Maybe they won't pay as much attention as they lead off?
I don't try to distract them. I just try to be in their ear the whole time.
Okay. I like it. Let's get you. You mentioned your power rankings. Let's get to them, Vinny. Who are your current top 5 teams in the NFL?
Well, again, I need to preface with this is what has happened thus far. It's not, it's not odds for the Super Bowl. It's what has happened thus far. So the Colts are number 1.
Okay.
I'm putting them at number 1. Just good for them. Good vibes. Number 1 seed in the AFC. I'm going to put the Lions at number 2 because last night they looked fantastic.
Okay.
I'm going to put the Chiefs at number 3, mostly because there is a little bit of they feel like the best team right now. I'm going to put the Packers at 4 just because they're currently at the head of the NFC. So
Micah Parsons coming off his best game of the year.
Yeah, that felt pretty good. And then at number 5, let's see. I don't know. The Bucks, they didn't look very good last night, but I'll put them in there. I'll put them in there. Put the Bucks at 5.
No Eagles, huh?
I just don't love the Eagles. Their vibes don't feel good right now for me. They played well this weekend, but that's how I feel.
You don't like the Eagles. Neither do I. I love it. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. You know who else I hate? The Broncos.
How about that comeback? That was disgusting to watch the Giants. I know you're a Jets fan, but that was sick to watch.
Really bad. Really bad. Let's just run the ball, guys, when you're up by 19. Let's just run it.
The Chiefs lost a playoff game, and you haven't been in Kansas City long. They lost a playoff game once where someone did the math, Vinny, because they were up 30. If they had just knelt down, there wouldn't have been enough physical time on the clock for the team to come back. And they lost the game. And you're just like, oh. Yeah. Well, at least it's a regular season game, not the playoffs.
That's right. Yeah, they're fun. They're frisky.
You know what? Next week, Vinny, I might get your bottom 5 power rankings. I want to figure out.
I like it. I
want to know. I want to know who the 5 worst teams are in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm in.
All right, Vinny, we appreciate it, man. We'll check in next week.
Yep, thanks, guys.
That's Vinnie Pasquantino, our VNFL insider. He joins us each and every Tuesday. Text line not happy with his power rankings. Few people saying,
Colts
wait a second.
are 6-1.
No, some people were saying, how are the Lions ahead of the Chiefs after what the Chiefs did to them?
It can't always be game to game. You know this works. The Raiders aren't ahead of the Colts, even though that's the only loss on the Colts on the Colts schedule.
My guess is
week to week. Lines looked really good.
My guess is once the Chiefs are in a playoff spot again, I bet you he bumps them up.
Or the records were the same, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think
the Lions we knew were going to be just fine, even though the Chiefs beat them. Like
the Lions are one of the 5 best teams.
That was one of those rare games where a team like Detroit could get beat up the way they did by Kansas City, and you're like, they're going to be fine. Detroit's going to be just fine, and they are just fine, and they were awesome last night, and their win.
I know the schedules are obviously very different, but the fact that the Panthers have the same record as the Chiefs is very weird right now.
I know it just doesn't
7 games.
It doesn't look right, and we know it won't finish that way. I am glad to hear that Vinny's going to be on World Series coverage. Obviously, Game 7 last night. It's so weird. Every team who goes against the Dodgers gets pitched as like David versus Goliath. The Blue Jays have the 5th highest payroll in baseball. Somebody yesterday on Twitter was trying to make a point of, look, I thought the number 1 team always wins the World Series. And they were pointing out the payrolls for the eventual World Series winners. And they made a horrible job trying to make their point. Because every World Series winner has a payroll in the top 10. The argument is not you have to be the highest payroll in baseball. The argument is you have to be in the conversation to win it. With the exception of the Royals over the last 10 years, you better have a top 10 payroll in baseball if you are planning on winning the World Series.
You heard Vinny say it, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but we all know there's an upcoming CBA issue here in a year or so, and he mentioned he thinks it's, as a player, it's great to see the Dodgers and Blue Jays, other than your own team you play for being in it. It's great to see the Blue Jays and Dodgers because they're teams that spend money, and that's good for baseball. And obviously, if you're a player, you like seeing that, and hopefully it pushes teams to spend more money. So that's his point of view, of course, going into it, knowing we know that the fight that's going to exist in 2027 or after the 2026 season when it comes to salary floor, salary cap, what happens, how many, it's going to get ugly. It's going to get very ugly. We get a whole baseball season before we get there, so no need to panic yet, but it's coming.
But that's also like the same thing. It's like if everybody knows this, the fact that they already aren't negotiating it, discussing it, talking about it, getting in a room and trying to hammer it out is a problem. But this goes back to the same thing. They're never going to accept a cap without a floor. The owners would be fine with a cap, most of them. A majority of the owners, let me put it that way. Dodgers are fine to spend the money. They don't care. And I don't even mean this as the sport is not broken because the Dodgers are willing to spend any more than anyone. Honestly, kudos to them.
They're not breaking any rules or anything. No, they're doing what they should be. If they want to spend the money, any other team can technically do what they're doing.
Kudos to them for being, like for Vinny's point, kudos to them and the Blue Jays for being willing to spend the money to put themselves in a position so that their fan base is going to enjoy a World Series. I don't knock them for that. The sport is broken because the Chicago White Sox spent $60 million last year. And the Dodgers this year, and the Dodgers spent $300 million or whatever the number.
Well, and it gets into the whole TV contract stuff though too, right? Right. This is where Major League Baseball is trying. Major League Baseball is trying to bring in the TV stuff a little more in house, and I think that's the idea down the road. Beyond 2027 into 2028, is to try to level that playing field because the TV contracts are on a different planet for the Dodgers and the Yankees than they are for the Royals, and different market size, and it makes sense. But how can you equal that out a little bit? So we'll see. It's going to be a major fight in 2027.
$240 million payroll for them, $193 for Toronto this year. Kansas City was at $98.
Yeah,
active.
I'm
They were
excited for the
Ohio
World
State.
Series, though. I
They
mean,
cut
George
some
Springer in October is one of the greatest performers in October we've seen. Not the best, okay? He's not Mr. October, but he's damn close the way he's playing with some of these home runs,
he's
man.
Up there, yeah.
I mean, he's coming up in these biggest spots, and of course, devastating if you're a Mariners fan. You thought you had a lead in the seventh inning. You felt like it was finally going to happen. You also had 2 games to win 1. Remember, the Blue Jays were down in that series going into a Game 6. Yep. They win Game 6. You're thinking, the Mariners, they got the pitching advantage now.
Up 3-1. It's the 7th inning.
Yep.
Leadoff walk leads to 2 runners on base, leads to a bunt, and then, of course, Springer puts the ball in the seat. I felt sick for Mariners fans. I root for any fan base who's never experienced any amount of joy when it comes to baseball, and they've never even been to a World Series. And unfortunately, that streak will continue. Let's get back to the NFL, though, and the Chiefs, because I was looking at a couple of teams on Vinny's power rankings. Turns out there's a little crossover in Vinny's power rankings and where they are right now. DVOA and points per game. These are the things that usually tell us which teams are heading to the Super Bowl and which teams we should be taking serious. Right now, and I wanted to point these teams out individually, there are only 3 teams in the NFL who are both top 10 in points per game on offense and top 10 in points per game on defense. Just 3. Those teams are Kansas City, as you can imagine. After last night's games, they are the 6th best already. Remember we were talking about they could be a top. They are already, even with the bad games to start the year, the 6th best points per game offense in the NFL and the 3rd best points per game defense. Pretty good. The only other 2 teams, Indianapolis and Seattle.
Yeah, and Seattle is a team, I think people are finally starting to give them some respect as well. I know they're, Sam Darnold in Seattle is a franchise you kind of just, in a weird way, they just don't get talked about all that much.
5th and 6th respectively for them.
Jackson Smith and Jigba is also finally. He was an all 32 topic. I think we had 3 or 4 weeks ago. He to me should be getting way more attention than he's had type of season. And Seattle now
he might enter the Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson,
legitimate top 10 receiver. Yeah. Legitimate top 10 receiver. And I know people say, "Well, he's just getting a ton of volume." Yeah, but if you watched again the game last night on the national stage, even if you haven't watched any of their noon kickoffs, or I guess for them 3:25 kickoffs that they've had. I mean, he's getting open whenever he wants to get open. I mean, his route running has improved. He's now on the outside instead of just in the slot. Awfully impressive for Seattle. And then what you mentioned, the Colts. No surprise. I mean, that's why they're 6-1. That's why they're 6-1.
I guess what it is do we view those like if I told you there were only 3? That's why this goes back to the lead almost in a way. Like this is part of the reason the Chiefs are such a heavy favorite. Buffalo doesn't have a top 10 defense for what feels like the first time in a really long time. New England, as good as they've been with Drake May, they don't have a top 10 defense under Mike Vrabel yet. Washington is a top scoring team. These are the teams that are in that category. Dallas, Detroit, like teams like Detroit, we think Detroit's a really good team. Even they don't have a defense that rivals or is up in that category. The way I start looking at this, and I'm curious to see how this plays out is, and do we view the Chiefs this way? Do we think the Chiefs are a top 10 offense and defense? Do the numbers match up with what you see on the field? Because that's really the truth of the matter is the schedule, the opponents, the teams, the offenses they've faced. Because right now, Kansas City, how many of the top 10 offenses did they face? That'll tell you whether or not their defensive metric is true. They have faced Detroit, who's the 3rd best offense in the NFL. That's it, right? They haven't faced Green Bay.
No.
They will face Indy and Dallas, 1 and 2. They will face later on Washington this week, a top 10 offense. So is that the next 3 weeks? Do 3 of the next 4 weeks they have 3 of the top 10 offenses in the NFL?
Yeah, if that keeps up.
Cool. I'll make a decision about the defense. Talk to me in a month about whether they're serious. Defense. Let's talk about if Kansas City's scored against them. Right now, the top 10 defense in the NFL, Kansas City has faced none. Right? Not Houston, Rams, Denver, New England, Seattle, San Francisco, Indy, Atlanta, or Minnesota or Green Bay. Those are tied. They haven't faced a single top 10 defense. So where do they go against those? What I'm saying is my eye test tells me yes, but I do think there's some competition part where we got to put all the pieces together in order to do it. Although Kansas City's offense might be hurting the teams they're facing in the top 10.
That was what I was going to say. I know it is 7 weeks in, but when you put up 31 or 30 on Detroit, that knocks them down quite a bit. Or you put up 37 on a Baltimore team or whatever, right? That's going to change.
Baltimore's even one of the worst in the league, but yes.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying though. Like it
Detroit
all factors
is the 12th
in.
best points per game defense. They would probably be top 10 if it wasn't for Kansas City.
You can still swing one way or the other on these standings or these rankings based on one game. I mean, the Chiefs defensively, when you go and you shut out an opponent, you're going to flip. It's basically a 60-point swing in some cases, depending on who you're going up against. I mean, that's what's crazy about it. One shutout in the league, you jump up 10 spots, 8 spots.
But everyone has the same opportunity, and it's a season-long
No,
stat.
I think the Chiefs are a top 5 offense and a top 10 defense. And I think that'll be the case at the end of the season as well.
Yeah. No, I think, the offense, the fact that they're already at 6th only strengthens they're going to be the best offense in football. The only competition I think they have for best offense in football this year is the Colts. Because the Colts are balanced. They have offensive line play, they have good quarterback play, they can run the ball. They have they have one thing the Chiefs don't have, which is an elite, top of the league level running back playing as a top of the league level running back. So, that's the one thing they possess Kansas City doesn't. They have a tight end who's playing really well. Chiefs tight end's playing really well. They have a wide receiver group that's playing really well. The Chiefs have it. Nothing else is really different. They just have an elite level running back, and it's changing it. Just interesting. 7 weeks into the season, they're one of only 3 teams in the top 10 on offense and defense.
Up next, we'll get to the biggest threat for the Chiefs. Is it the Patriots or is it the Colts, who everybody's starting to buy even more into? We'll do that. And Drew's got the latest on college football and some of the surprises in 2025.
This is Cody and Gold. Tune in for Nate Taylor every Tuesday at 1 o'clock, right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Cody and Gold are brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
It's NBA tip-off week. In fact, the NBA regular season begins tonight, and FanDuel is your home for live betting. So even if you miss the start of the game or you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. However you want to play, now's the perfect time to join because FanDuel's giving new customers $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. So just visit FanDuel.com/Alex to sign up today. Play your game with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bet, which expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Hey, Chiefs fans, Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Kansas City Chiefs. And this season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with the Crown Royal rig at a stadium near you because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with a generous spirit. Visit www.crownroyal.com/Royal Rig for more on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
Things are getting spooky in South Kansas City, but the deals at Rob Side Ford, they're scary good. Rob Side is with me. Hey, Rob, what's haunting the lot this month?
No tricks, just treats. From Broncos to Explorers to F-150s and commercial vehicles, we've got the inventory, the selection, and the lowest prices in Kansas City.
And no creepy sales tactics, just non-commissioned staff and real value.
Exactly. And while we're on the scary stuff, Kevin, your brisket from last weekend still haunts me.
Okay, dry rub shouldn't actually mean dry.
But here's the real flavor. KC's only top-rated Ford dealer on Google, 4.8 stars with nearly 3,000 reviews. Voted best car dealership in KC by Kansas City Magazine.
If you want simple, upfront, and easy, Rob Side Ford is the treat you've been looking for. Visit 135th and State Line and buy right with Rob Site.
Rob Site Ford, ROBSIGHT.com. And Kevin, leave the cooking to us this Halloween.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down, 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we're improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, Call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000, or go to rexbuyskc.com. That's rexbuyskc.com, and I look forward to working with you.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-979-3168. 800-979-3168. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-979-3168.
Great time of year to get your roof checked out over at Century Roofing. Well, they'll give you a free estimate to make sure it's in good shape. Look, maybe you were up there cleaning the gutters as the leaves start to come down and you notice a few problem areas. Maybe it is just repairs. Maybe it is a roof replacement. They can figure out what your project needs. They've done roof on my work 2 different times. The back screen porch for my house that some wind caught up on that I had to get worked on, like some sheet metal. And then the main roof of my house. I thought I'd been hearing a drip. Had them check it out. There was a small leak. They took care of it, and now a small problem won't become a big problem. Trust a locally owned and operated company. One that's been in the Kansas City area for 35 years, done over 30,000 roofs, and not just me telling you. Voted best roofing company in Kansas City, thanks to readers over the Kansas City Star. Voted best roofing company in Johnson County 4 years in a row. They're ready to handle no matter what your roofing needs are or no matter what your roofing project looks like. So if you need that checked out, you want to be safe going into the winter, make sure Century Roofing can take care of that for you. Trust the pillars of strength. Go with female-owned and locally owned Century Roofing and go to centuryroofingkc.com.
Fast cars, barbecue, and live music. Bring the family for Burnouts, a car show, Kids Zone, and Chris Jansen live Saturday night. It's Boost and Barbecue next Friday, October 24th and Saturday, October 25th at Flying H Drag Strip, Odessa. Kids 12 and under are free. Online at boostandbbq.com.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
What's up, Kansas City? It's Nick Bolton. Tune in on game days to hear the play-by-play with Mitch, Danon, and Clean on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
It is back tonight. The NBA returns. And I know, don't worry, we're not going to talk. I know some of you get very upset. We also know we're in Kansas City. We're not going to spend much time talking NBA tonight, but I am excited to have the association back. Opening night tonight. We're going to get into a little bit on that later on in the show. And also, there's some local basketball news that ties into it as well. Christian Brown got a massive extension yesterday.
Sure did.
Which was pretty cool to see. So I am excited. I know Drew's fired up for it. Perfect timing if you're just joining us for the first time today. It's Drew's birthday. He's now part of the 30 club.
Happy birthday!
Yep, he's in the 30s.
Thank you.
Someone did text it and say, all right, Drew, you made it to your 30. No more shirtless selfies.
Wow.
None of this. No more videos of that kind of stuff. Now that you're 30, you have to cut it out.
In the 1 o'clock hour, we'll let you text an advice for Drew on how he should treat his 30s. Make sure he knows what the best course of action just one piece of advice. You'd say that he should make sure he takes care of in his 30s. We can do that in the 1 o'clock hour. That way Drew's taken care of, seeing how it's his first day in the 30s. The Thunder, prohibitive favorites. They're like 2-1 or even money. And then it's like Cavs or Nuggets after them, I think.
And obviously Cooper Flagg is this heavy Rookie of the Year favorite, which I'm excited to see what he can do, obviously.
I'm interested in seeing Luka.
Oh, out in LA because he's lost some weight and everything?
I want to see ripped Luka just tear through the league.
Well, I mean, the MVP odds overall right now, SGA, of course, trying to go and
Jokic,
do that again.
Sure is up there.
Plus 160, Jokic, second best odds, and then Luka 4-1, Wemby coming back, he's 10-1, and then Giannis still sitting there 13-1.
Wemby somehow got taller and better. It seems like over the course of the he's like 7'7".
People are saying he was lying about it before. Like they were trying to trick the league a little bit. Somebody figured out that they were on their game, that he didn't actually grow. He's just always that tall.
So, yeah, we'll mix in maybe in the 1 o'clock hour, have some fun with the NBA. That does get going again tonight. Plus, we were saying it's Michael Jordan's part of the NBC broadcast, at least pregame and studio stuff. So it's pretty rare to see that, which makes it, even for those of you that are like, the NBA was better back in my day. Well, Michael Jordan's part of the coverage. Maybe that'll help ease it in for some people.
We all assume his broadcast style is going to be like, this guy stinks, and I don't understand why his game's no good.
I really hope there's a level of
I don't know how honest he's going to be.
I'm tired of these guys shooting threes, man. You know,
I don't know how honest he's going to be.
Like
if he's just going to tell like it is, or if he's going to change because he's got a gig now. I don't know. We're all going to find out.
Texting in advice.
Yeah, people are saying good luck with your metabolism, which is also true.
Also, to not listen to Cody.
We did say, and I don't know what your plans are after the show. It's a little last minute. We may have to figure this out another day. Someone said, "Aren't you guys going to Chuck's Arcade for Drew's birthday?"
But we're not going tonight.
I totally forgot about that.
We did
He's
say,
got dinner plans with his wife.
Yeah,
correct.
He doesn't want to spend his birthday night with us. Okay.
I forgot about the Chuck's Arcade.
We did say Chuck's
Arcade. Have
Arcade.
to make that happen.
We've learned a lot in my Professor segments. Bad news. We've been doing Professor Tap on Thursdays.
I got a substitute already.
What?
Yeah, I already went out and I went in. There's the teacher portal, and I went out and found us a substitute teacher for you Thursday.
I'm on kid field trip duty on Thursday. I try to make those when they request. They've requested that I come to the nature sanctuary or whatever it is. Just make sure that things, make sure we have a good time together.
Is our substitute teacher going to roll in the TV on that cart like they did back in the day?
I will say he has full creative flexibility with what he wants to do.
I think that's scary, but also intriguing.
So that'll be Thursday.
As a student, I'm excited for this.
Yeah.
Substitute teachers are great.
Who knows what reaction? Yeah, I don't know if just going to flip on highlights or what. I don't know what we're going to get.
I'll tell you right now. Just like all other substitute teachers, I'm going to expect a report back from the teacher on how the class behaved. Are you guys going to mind your business?
Yeah.
You're going to make sure that you let this person
What are the
teach
chances
their
the
lesson?
teacher actually gives you a report back?
I'll get a report back.
I don't think this substitute teacher's put in that kind of work. So we'll see. All right.
You think it's one just taking the check?
I think that's what's going to happen. Okay. All right, let's get back into the Chiefs a little bit. And we teased it before the break. The AFC right now, and at the top of it, you have the Colts. You got a Patriots team that is surprising a lot of people. Drake May continues to play very, very well. Mike Vrabel's got that defense also slowly turning into what you expect from a Vrabel defense. It's not quite there yet. Who's the bigger threat right now to the Chiefs and their quest? Let's say the Chiefs get to where we think they will eventually, which is being one of the top 3 seeds. I still think in the AFC when it's all said and done. Yes, that means I think they can win the division still. So who's the biggest threat for them? Is it Daniel Jones and those Colts? Or is it Drake May and the New England Patriots?
Can I tell you why I love this conversation? Because we're not taking the Bills off this list. The Bills have been a perennial contender. They are still in the playoff mix versus the Ravens, who we don't have to take serious at all. And we've already just decided as a collective over the years not to take the Broncos seriously, the Steelers seriously, the Chargers, the Jags, the Bengals. I don't care about any of those other teams. So if I'm going to have to choose someone besides Buffalo to take serious, the only 2 teams, in my opinion, at the moment, unless Denver starts looking a lot different offensively, even though I know they won, unless they're going to start looking a lot different offensively, is those 2 teams. I think it's the Colts. I think the Colts are lining up for one of those once every 4 years where some team whose quarterback you want to dismiss because it doesn't quite track in your head gets in there, and you're like, I don't think so. But everything about their team lines up. They win and win by a wide margin. They're undefeated in the conference. They're in a medium-level division at least. Like the Texans they're not good, but they're not a laughingstock. The Jags are medium, but they're not a laughingstock. And so, like, they found a way to take complete control of their division. They've got a quarterback playing confidently at a high level. And what happens with the Patriots is I just think they're a year too early. I will take them seriously moving forward. If I made this for the next 5 years, who do you take more serious conversation? Well, then it's the Patriots by a pretty wide margin. They're just a year too early. Don't have enough offensive weapons. Don't have enough defensive weapons. They are a good, solid football team who is well coached. I don't fear them the way I fear the Colts at this stage.
So I don't fear either team,
No,
but I will say the Colts are clearly the answer to this question. They have the number one offense in football, and they're going to win their division, and therefore they're going to get a home game, and they're trending towards the number one seed. That makes them a bigger threat as well. Just that whole setup.
That they could be playing at home.
I think if the Patriots are the 5 or 6 seed, I think they can go on the road and win. You know, like if you tell me that the Patriots are the 5 seed and the Steelers are the 4, the Patriots, a lot of people are going to pick them to go beat Pittsburgh. If the Patriots are going, and let's say the Chargers still win the division, or excuse me, the Broncos win the division, and the Patriots are going to Denver, Patriots can win that game. Some people might even pick them to upset the Chiefs. I think that'll be foolish if the Chiefs are playing the way we all think they're going.
Massive mistake.
But the Patriots, if they go to Pittsburgh or Denver or someplace like that in the playoffs, if the one of those teams wins their division, then I think they can win that. The Colts are the bigger threat, but the fact that this is the conversation still makes me feel very good. If I'm Buffalo or if I'm Kansas City, because I still know that if your team can get in the dance, you still have the better quarterbacks. And typically, not always, typically the best quarterbacks find ways to win in the postseason. It's almost that. It's not always that simple, but it's pretty darn close.
I mean, occasionally in the playoffs, like we mentioned, like the Bortles year, you can
Bortles,
or Mark Sanchez,
Flacco,
if you
Trent
go back on
Dilfer,
him.
Brad Johnson. There's outliers, but we're talking about 3 guys in the last 20 years.
Yeah, it's not common. I'm just trying to think about like getting to a conference title game. In the NFC, that's been way more common. Just some quarterback who you're like, oh, them? Okay, nice job. Get to the NFC title game there, bud. You know, like whatever. That's happened a little bit more frequently.
I just want to see the Colts go up. I want to see the Colts go up against Josh Allen or Mahomes. By the way, they will go up against Mahomes here in a couple weeks. I want them to face a top tier quarterback. Justin Herbert's very good. He's not a top tier elite, top 5 quarterback in the league. They haven't faced one of those guys yet. Matthew Stafford's the closest to that, and they lost that game.
Looking over in the text line, some people are like, I don't even take the Bills seriously. Somebody tossing in other teams, mentioning the Steelers still because of Aaron Rodgers. I was like, I don't know, man. We talked about this.
He is playing better.
They lost to the Bengals and Joe Flacco and gave up 300-yard passes.
Rodgers is playing fine, but the Steelers as a whole are the same old Steelers. We said that after last Thursday's game. Same Steelers are probably going to win the division still, but they're not doing anything in the postseason.
Somebody mentioned this yesterday when we were going through the All-32, and I mentioned the Colts. Lou Anarumo seems to somehow have his way a little bit with Patrick Mahomes, and just not necessarily making him play bad, but
he's done a better job than most coordinators.
He has a good
him.
game plan. So
Yes.
I think that also maybe factors into not just the offensive part, but Lou Anarumo being the DC all of a sudden I think makes that matchup even a little bit more intriguing when we get to it.
The best thing that happened to him is he got fired by the Bengals.
It's worked out very well for him.
He's got a top 10 defense, and the Bengals don't. They have the second worst defense in the NFL at the moment, points per game wise. No, I think that there is something to the Lou part. You got to go back to when they got past Kansas City in the AFC title game. It was Lou Anarumo dropped 8 in coverage more than anyone had ever done that to Patrick Mahomes ever. And that became the book on Mahomes for a full season after that. Like they went like full shift, and everybody in the NFL did that for a while. Now, I think the Chiefs have too many weapons to just be like shut down by them.
Yeah,
it's the quarterback thing that's the only reason it gives us pause. If the quarterbacks are switched,
of course,
we would say the Colts without even.
But that's a huge deal. But that's everything. I mean, we look. I this is not me hating on Indianapolis. They've done an amazing job, and they're proving everybody, including me and you and Drew, all wrong. Okay, they're having an awesome season, and they're going to be a playoff team and all that. It feels still a lot like Minnesota last year to me. I'm sorry. Where let's see where they're at in week 16, 17, and 18. How healthy are they? What level is Daniel Jones still playing at? We all remember what happened to Sam Darnold and the Vikings late. They won 14 games. He looked like bleep the final week or so, and they lost in the opening round of the postseason, if I'm not mistaken. So that's what it still feels like to me. And maybe
you're saying there's still like a false bottom.
The difference for them, they might be the 1 seed, so they get an automatic bye. Maybe that's the difference, and that's why the 1 seed actually for them is so important. I don't think Daniel Jones winning 3 playoff games. Can Daniel Jones win a playoff game to get him an AFC title game? Maybe. Is he winning 3? Not so sure about that.
Their
If they get
schedule's
to an
still not
AFC
bad.
title game, then surely Daniel Jones is getting paid, right? I mean, he's
getting
the
paid
guy.
anyway.
Then I mean,
He will be their starting quarterback for the long haul now.
I think
if as long as he stays healthy.
It's a Baker thing. They're going to pay him a cut. He's going to get another big payday. Daniel Jones, they're not going to have this kind of success and then change it up. Not in my opinion. It's just, there's just no way.
We'll get to the trash of the day here in about 7 minutes or so, but it is that time of the week where we talk a little college football. Drew sets this up with some of the top storylines and the conversation right now. A very interesting week in college football behind us, that's for sure. And now looking ahead a little bit where the college football playoff picture is getting a little more interesting.
Yeah, I think this is it's really crazy because who would have thought that we ever would be at this position? Not just in 2025, but really ever. Indiana, who had never, before Curt Cignetti, had a better season than 8-4, is second in the country right now. Georgia Tech is undefeated and 7-0 and 7th in the country. And then Vanderbilt is 10th in the country at 6-1. I felt like if you would have said this to us, if you would have said, hey, in 5 years, this is what the case is going to be like, and you told us this in 2020 or even 2015, we all would have said you're absolutely crazy. And what happened to college football?
Hey, maybe NIL's working.
I think this
Can
is
we say,
a very good example of that. Yes.
And this is my hope. Is the only way I'll know that it's working for real, though, is if one of these teams actually punched the damn ticket.
I won the whole thing?
Yeah.
Or at least get to a national title.
Give me Indiana football national champion.
I mean, that would be.
Not Oregon, not Georgia, not Bama, not Ohio, not all the teams we're used to. Give me Georgia Tech national championship. Give me Vanderbilt national champion. You give me that, then I know NIL's working. Versus just evening the playing field a little, which it obviously has done.
It's awesome to see these schools at the top. I still think if I were to, as of right this second, say who I think are the top two teams or whatever in the country, Ohio State to me is the best team in college football still.
Yes.
Alabama would probably be number 2 for me. And then I would go with Indiana/Oregon. That's probably where I'm at if I were to rank out real quickly off the top of my head. College football, but it's great. It's great for the sport to see these schools that normally are not in this picture right there. Now, there's a ton of college football left, as you all know, that this can change in a hurry. But right now, it's trending towards a college football playoff that's going to have a lot of new blood.
I think even Cody's. This is them winning a national title. Of course, it would mean a lot of things for college football. I think even.
Getting to one?
Getting to one would be big. Because I think everybody's kind of waiting for Indiana to be the Indiana that we're used to, I guess, if you will, which I don't think they are. I think they're different this year. But if they were to lose in the first round and let's say they got a bye, they were the 4th team, and they lost to the 5 seed, a very tight matchup that easily could go different ways. But if Indiana lost that, then everybody would be like, oh, well, it is Indiana after all. I think even them getting to a semifinal and beating a big boy, whether that's Georgia or Oregon, just to get to that point, I think would be a big deal. But I think
they went to the college football playoff last year and lost. It's got to go further than that.
They were a 10 seed though, and they didn't host. So I think there's. If they're a 2 seed and I think it would be. If they got to a semifinal, I think it would signify that NIL is working. Maybe not to win a national title and compete to that level, but it means that it's working.
Sure, it's working better than the system was before.
Yes.
But it would still feel like a baseball discrepancy. It's not like we could just play in a World Series or go to the playoffs. I want to win a World Series. And there's still like a discrepancy of top to bottom of those things. What I'm saying is even just one time showing the little guy can do it.
Can actually
win
do it. Yeah.
That would mean a lot.
And it's crazy too because Vandy's beaten Alabama before. They've beaten LSU. So in a way, Vandy's kind of already proven it
They got Mizzou this week.
I know. Which to me, this is interesting because obviously that game is massive. But one of the names outside of Matt Rule with Penn State, outside of Lane Kiffin with Florida, whose name has kind of been floated, not as a favorite, but as a guy to maybe watch in this conversation of coaching carousel, if you will. That's Coach Drinkwitz at Missouri. And I think it's an interesting thing where I know we obviously disagreed a little bit with Curt Cignetti, but last year I said if Penn State would have offered him the job after last season, I think Curt Cignetti leaves for sure. Now that they're number 2 in the country, I think it's a little bit different. This year, I think if Missouri makes the playoff, this is like what Indiana did last year, where if Florida or Penn State said, hey, Coach Drinkwitz, you want to come and coach, I think he actually would leave, more likely so after this season than if he stuck around after making the playoff, let's say this year, if they did it. It feels like if you make it once, you parlay that into a quote-unquote bigger time job where, I mean, some are arguing whether Missouri is actually better job than Florida, which to me I think is a little bit of a reach. But I think it's fair to compare the two with Indiana and Mizzou and how they've kind of looked over the last couple of seasons.
The only thing with Drinkwitz I would say is maybe I think I have the classification right for both these players. But Hardy and Prabula are back next year, right?
Hardy, I
think Hardy's back next year.
I think he.
So I don't think he's not a senior, right? So
Prabula for sure.
Prabula's a redshirt.
He's going to be with him. Yeah. Prabula's
I guess what
gonna
I'm
be
saying
there
is, like, if his roster's
Hardy,
still stacked next year, why would he? Why would he?
Which I think is the argument. For
Hardy's only a sophomore,
and I think that's the argument for. That's the argument why Kurt Cignetti stayed where he was. But again, this is another year of him doing what he did last year. Cody, I think to your point, Pennsylvania is one thing, and Pennsylvania produces a lot of college football talent. And obviously, Penn State is Penn State. But I think being able to not just coach in a hotbed, but recruit in a hotbed.
He's a good recruiter. It's his best skill.
Yeah, it makes. I would be really intrigued to see how quickly he could get Florida back to double-digit wins. I think he could do it maybe, I don't know about as quick as Lane Kiffin, but I think Lane Kiffin, very good recruiter. Coach Drinkwitz, very good recruiter. It would be interesting to see how quickly they could flip Florida back to being where people would like them to be, at least with Gator Nation. Plus, I will say this too. Steve Spurrier mentioned this. Visor. Lane Kiffin wears what? A visor. Coach Drinkwitz wears what? A visor. I don't know. There's a little bit of Steve Spurrier. There's a little bit of Steve Spurrier in Elijah Drinkwitz and a little bit of Steve Spurrier and Lane Kiffin. I think they both would fit.
We'll talk more local college football Thursday and Friday on this show. Of course, Sunflower Showdown, KU, K-State, Missouri. Big game against Vandy. They are slight dogs. Missouri is 2.5, I think, at last check. Underdogs to Diego Pavia, who now has like the 5th best odds to win the Heisman. So huge local college football weekend ahead. We'll get there later on in the week. But in the meantime,
trash of the day.
All right, I was sent this one from the boss.
Wow.
It's a great one. It's a great one. This one takes us to China, where they're testing something out. Now, we were discussing yesterday the red zone and the commercials and everything, and we differ at least on a little bit of how annoying it is or whatever. This has gone too far. This is way too far.
So you're finally on board with commercials have gone too far? Let me hear.
Well, here's why. Public restrooms in parts of China are testing new dispensers that release toilet paper only after users scan a QR code and watch an online advertisement. Yeah, this is real. This is not an Onion article, I swear. This is from techspot.com. China's testing restroom machines that make you watch ads in exchange for toilet papers. They are trying to curb waste. If I need to wipe my rear end, I have to watch a commercial, is what you're telling me. The mounted paper dispensers are equipped with optical scanners that display a QR code. You must use your smartphone to connect to the dispenser. So now you're on the jaw and you got to pull your phone out to then scan a QR code just to get a little, I don't know how much toilet paper they're dispensing. They're trying to conserve waste.
Wait, so do they
if you're unwilling to engage with the promotional content, you can bypass the process by paying 7 cents.
So I gotta pay money to
get
come
toilet paper?
on. In a public restroom?
Municipal officials have described the program as part of an ongoing campaign to reduce waste in public facilities. Cases of residents and tourists taking large amounts of complimentary paper have been documented for years in high-traffic areas, leading some city governments in China to test technology-based rationing systems. Yeah.
I gotta say.
This is insane.
This is offensive. And this just goes back to my point on red zone. It's just like,
oh, this is a whole different. This is whole different.
Some part of my life should not be inundated with ads. There was a car company not that long ago that just put like the Tron commercial in the dashboard. I didn't ask for the Tron trailer. I don't need to watch it. Thanks. You don't have to inundate me with ads in every part of my life. I'm on the toilet. Come on.
That's where if you pay a little bit more.
Now you better start. Someone said you better start bringing those like dude wipes with you or whatever if you're there.
I'm just carrying them around. I'm gonna have to carry a man bag. I'm gonna need like a satchel or something.
People are wearing those. Are very popular these days too.
Cody, this is a lot. In a way, this is sort of kind of like the red zone conversation. Is all of a sudden, hey, if you don't want this, you can skip it. You don't have to have the ads, but you got to pay a little bit more. Just a little bit more.
They're gonna make me watch an ad to shake after. You know, like where's the line?
Okay.
I'll start somewhere. You know.
You're saying it's. Yeah, that's.
Someone did say this feels like a Black Mirror episode. That actually is correct. Absolutely right on that one.
and then you're just stuck before a big
Someone
interview.
says, this
your
sucks.
phone's out
Someone
of battery.
says-
You don't have your debit card on you.
Yeah.
You're like, what am I supposed to do? How do I save myself in this situation?
Someone did say, they go, this is actually sexist. They said, if you're a woman, you're using toilet paper every single time.
It's true.
You know?
It's a pink tax.
Yeah.
It's absolutely a sexist policy. It's way worse for you.
Said, no thanks. I'll just wear my adult diapers.
Yeah, just go with the depends or bring the dude wipes so you don't have to pay the 7 cents.
Dude wipes might be a move for
over on
for those
Twitch. You
people
see
who
him
are there.
saying like they're going to charge you like per length of ad. You want one ply or two ply? 15, 30 second, 60 second ad.
That's insane.
Yeah, which one you
Insane.
want? I got to choose my quality of toilet
Someone
paper, the
says
amount I get.
In Ireland, you pay to use public restrooms, but they're all spotless.
Seriously.
Someone said in Ireland, somewhere else in Europe, this on the text line, that you pay a small fee to use a public restroom, but they're always perfect.
That doesn't.
Public restroom.
If you told me every public restroom I use was spotless, I might be tempted by the pay.
I don't know, man. It's
You
public-
can go to- hey,
it's a public restroom. I'm already paying in some form or fashion for the public restroom and taxes or whatever, and I got to pay on top of it.
In fairness, you can go
I need
to
to keep it clean.
You can go to a Love's gas station right now, and the restrooms are perfectly fine, and you don't have to pay a cent.
That's not a regular spot for me.
Someone said their son played a football game in Finland, and at the train station in Helsinki, you pay to use the bathroom. This is a common thing, but not you're not paying. I mean, either
It
way,
sounds crazy,
You're
though,
paying for
still.
the toilet paper, or you're paying to walk into the bathroom. One sounds way worse than the other,
I'd
but
rather
it's the
pay-
same thing.
Same thing. I'd rather pay for no ad though.
Yeah, there's no ad.
Now they're saying you can't pay for no ad. They're saying it's 7 cents.
Or so you're either way you're paying, or would you rather watch the ad and not have to
I
pay?
would rather watch the ad and not
feels-
have to pay than pay to go to the rest to walk in.
It just feels like a black
So it's
mirror.
like an entry fee.
But some of this is like a cultural thing. We're not used to doing
Yeah.
it. In Finland, they are used to doing it, so it doesn't seem odd to them. You know?
Also, is 50 cents the same in terms of like valuation? In terms of like,
I assume it's similar. Maybe like a dime. I mean, who's
I'll tell you
carrying a
this:
dime?
you're not being as wasteful with how much toilet paper you're grabbing, though.
evidently. Yeah.
You imagine get to the end of your month budget and you're like, all right, where did we spend where you shouldn't? Gold, you spent $1.50
Imagine here.
on bathrooms this month?
Could you
Gotta
imagine?
tighten that up, man. Gotta
Stop going to
tighten
public
that-
restrooms.
Yeah. Wait till you get home.
Hold it.
Go before you leave the house.
Could you imagine in your workplace? Like, imagine if next break you went down in the Odyssey bathroom, and it was one of those where they just had a scan your ID card and it deducts out of your paycheck.
tell you
It's
right
like, hey, it's 50 cents every single time you go in there.
If they'd had a second urinal, I'd happily pay whatever they asked.
There is
You
only
know?
one urinal.
It's a terrible bathroom.
There is only one urinal. That is
Which is
true.
it's
It doesn't
crazy.
doesn't make any sense.
Plus, the stalls are all offset, anyways. You know,
Yeah,
that,
like
that
if you
also
see-
is
yeah.
an odd thing.
I'll pay whatever.
I've got the door banging up. I got the door leaning on me as I'm trying to go to the bathroom. Like, come on now.
It is true. It is very true. All right. That is the trash of the day. Up next, Chiefs Red Half Hour. Someone that left the game due to a back injury. What's the latest on him and the likelihood he plays against the Commanders? That's next.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Trent McDuffie. You're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Recently, 16 new students started their Centric journey. And before that, what were they doing? We talk all the time about people who are involved in other careers. They just want to change, Cody. Some of these students were in the military. Others were maybe driving delivery trucks, handling packages, you name it.
Certainly before you're getting ready to have to work outside, you think about the kind of work you want to do in the long term. Centric is starting cybersecurity careers today, and you can get them as little as 4 months. Your background doesn't matter. Doesn't matter the job you were in before. They're going to train you for that job in cybersecurity.
Yeah, more importantly, your future is what matters, and that's where Centric comes in. As little as 4 months, as you said, you can find a career in cybersecurity or any other field that they offer. We've mentioned AI all the time and how important that is now. It's seemingly everywhere. Centric can help you make that dream a reality. Go to Centric.com, book a call with our buddy Russ Mondry today.
Hi, I'm Becca, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. As an in-house designer, I can't wait for you to see our incredible selection of stylish and stackable rings. If you're shopping for your wedding bands, we have high-quality designs for every style and budget, from romantic to modern. If you're looking to add to a stack, your options are endless. Discover styles with clusters of gemstones, sleek all-metal designs, updated cigar bands, and signet rings perfect for an engraving. because a friend knows you like options. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Schedule your home improvement project while the weather is still nice with Powell Exteriors KC. They offer easy financing, pay no interest until 2027, a 10-year workmanship warranty, and their extended summer sale. PowellExteriorsKC.com. The power of KC is Powell Exteriors KC.
You don't need to be a financial MVP right out of the gate. At Main Street Credit Union, we're here to coach you through it. No matter where you're at, lining up for your first play or deep in the game, we'll help you move the ball forward. From building credit to launching a business. Because here, it's not just about money, it's about progress and having a team that's got your back. Learn more at mainstreetcu.org.
FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming to Missouri. On December 1st, you'll finally be able to bet on all your favorite teams and all your favorite sports. With FanDuel, there's a ton of ways for you to get in on the action. You can bet everything from the money line to over-unders to which team will win it all. You'll be able to build parlays, bet player props, or even ride the live line. Whatever your style, FanDuel has you covered. Plus, with live betting, you can pick which player will score the next touchdown or the touchdown after that. However you play your game, FanDuel's got your back. On December 1st, you'll be able to see for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, there's a ton of ways for you to get in on the action. FanDuel, play your game. FanDuel Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, Zach. Are you smiling at my gorgeous canyon view?
No, Donald. I'm smiling because I've got something I want to tell the whole world.
Well, do it. Shout it out.
T-Mobile's got home internet.
Whoa, I love that echo. T-Mobile's got home internet.
How much is it?
Look at that, Zach. We got the neighbors' attention.
Just $35 a month. And you love a great deal, Denise.
Plus, they've got a 5-year price guarantee. That's 5 whole trips around the sun.
I'm switching. Me too.
Yes, T-Mobile home internet for the neighborhood.
Donald, you still haven't returned my weed whacker.
Carl, don't you embarrass me like this, please.
What's everyone yelling about?
T-Mobile's got home internet.
And Donald's got my weed whacker.
Yes, T-Mobile's got home internet. Just $35 a month with auto pay and any voice line. And it's guaranteed for 5 years.
Beautiful yodeling, Carl.
Taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com/ISP for details and exclusions.
You could be on the 50 at GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Enter to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is the proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Get 5 quarts of Valvoline full synthetic motor oil, a Wix filter, and a $15 gift card after rebate at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Nobody had to tell your grandparents not to drive while using their typewriters. Why should it be any different for us kids and our cell phones? Distracted driving was the cause of more than 3,000 deaths in 2022. Come on, we're smarter than this. Let's put down the phones and focus on the roads. Drive safe, everybody.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
O'Reilly.
It's Superstart Battery Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Get up to a $25 gift card after rebate with the purchase of select Superstart batteries. We'll test your old battery for free and recommend the right battery for your vehicle. For power, performance, and reliability, choose Superstart batteries only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/play.
Chiefs coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Renner Garage Door has proudly served our community for decades. The best styles, technology, and family values. That's Renner. Get your free repair or replacement quote today. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Chiefs Red Half Hour brought to you by All Weather Decks, Kansas City's most respected deck builder. Check them out at allweatherdecks.net.
Coming up at 1 o'clock today, Nate Taylor from ESPN will join us in studio. We'll get his perspective on the Chiefs' big win against the Raiders. Look ahead a little bit to the Commanders, some of the storylines and talking points around this team. Also in the 1 o'clock hour, as we mentioned, it is Drew's birthday today. He is part of the 30 Club, so some advice, things he needs to do in his 30s. That's coming up in the 1 o'clock hour today.
Or not do, apparently.
Or not do. But a lot of the responses have mainly been, hey, man, you're not 25 anymore. You got to exercise more.
Get some fiber in your diet.
Metabolism slows down. And boy, that's
Why
true.
fiber, Cody?
Helps you poop.
Yeah.
You don't want to run into problems like that,
You don't want to be constipated and stuff.
Right. Of course not. Of course not.
You're in your 30s now, man. Can't just be taking risks.
The metabolism definitely slows down, trust me.
Yeah.
I know, Drew, you probably thought that, I left that sandwich meat out for a couple of hours. I'll probably be fine. Your body can't reject that anymore. Your body will reject that moving forward. Can't be taking risky food choices.
Yeah.
Yeah. No more.
Like, I left that pizza out. I could still eat it for breakfast.
No,
you
more
can't.
No more hot Cheetos, yeah?
Is your wife older or younger than you?
Younger.
Okay. All right. So she hasn't already turned 30.
When will she turn 30?
September of next year.
Okay.
About a year.
All right, so we'll talk more about that a little bit later on in the show. You guys can text in 913-586-7965. Trey Smith tried to get back in the game on Sunday, and he did for a series and then left again. They were clearly on the sideline working out his back, trying to stretch him out a little bit. Andy Reid, after the game, said that they didn't believe it was a serious injury. Quote, back injury is nothing serious. We'll have to see what happens next. And we will hear from Andy Reid again on Thursday with the Monday schedule. Everything's pushed back a day.
Yep.
I'm not worried, that this is something that's going to hold him out for multiple games. I think he's still probably going to play even on Monday. But that would be where you would start to really have your depth questions because you have Kingsley on the left side, you got Trey Smith on the right. Caliendo's filled it on the left side. All of a sudden, you're starting to get a little bit thinner there. Trey Smith, to me, the way him and Creed have played the last 5 weeks is also as much of the story about the offense as anything, too. We've mentioned so much about Jawan Taylor playing much better. Josh Simmons was playing great when he was out there. Jalen Moore's done a nice job since he's now started 2 games in a row for Kansas City. But when they were struggling on offense and the offensive line, Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey were not playing great football the first 2 weeks of the season either.
Correct.
They both are playing at a very high level again. We know they have to have Trey Smith, but I actually, this is one of those times where you hear comments after a game, and the fact that Andy was willing to go as far already and say, yeah, we don't think it's anything serious, that should put everybody at ease.
I think my fear is that they're one offensive line injury away from all of this goodwill built up goal to be a problem. They obviously pass protected really well the last 2 weeks without Josh Simmons, but because they're down to their backup tackle, and look, I'm sure Wanya Morris is the best third tackle on anyone's team in the NFL, maybe, right? Because he's actually started and played in NFL football games. But, you can't get to that point. That means no injuries I can't remember the names. No injuries for Taylor. No injuries, right? Because the absence of Simmons for Moore. And you are just real tight on the guard stuff. Look, if Trey Smith comes back, not as tight on the guard stuff, because you can always have Caliendo, who did a serviceable job, did a nice job in the absence of it. But it just feels like they're skating a little closer to the, it's a little closer to the edge than I want it to be.
Trey Smith, maybe he would have stayed out even if it was a close game, but the Jawan Taylor shoulder thing or Kingsley limping around, to me, those were things where the game was out of hand, and so there was no reason to push the issue with those. Like Jawan Taylor, I'm not worried about his shoulder or anything like that. I think a lot of that was, the game was 31-0.
I just meant like injuries in general. Things happen. People miss time. People get hurt.
You never
because
go
Simmons
through a
is
full
in
season.
limbo, and we have no concept of when he might return. There is this and you're right. You're never going to go a season, but like tackle's just like, it's other than quarterback, it's like the last place you want an injury at.
Yeah.
They're lucky they're smart because they signed more and then drafted Simmons, but they're fortunate, I would say, to have that level of player. But now they're right back on thin edge with everyone else where they didn't want Wanye to start last year. They switched to a guard before they let Wanye play regular left tackle. You know?
I just think their situation with depth is no different than any other team in the NFL on the offensive line. Any other team, if you worry about losing a tackle, for example, you're going to be concerned. I don't care if you're the Chiefs, if you're the Eagles, the Bills, whoever. The Chiefs had the luxury because of the signing of Jalen Moore, who they were prepared to start at left tackle if they didn't draft Josh Simmons. So they were better prepared there than last year and better prepared than most teams in the NFL. But that's not even that normal. So any team in football, if they lose their tackle or guard, it's going to be problematic. But I think other than the ongoing Josh Simmons saga, which is still a complete unknown at this point in time in terms of timeline or anything, I think they're fine. Like, I think the guys that were a little nicked up in the game.
You're just saying you're nicked up and then the game got out of control.
I think they'll all be fine for Monday.
Look, by the time they tried to put Trey Smith back in the game and he was back on the sideline, it looked like he was going to be out. The game was done. I mean, done. It did not matter. So, like, that part of it doesn't really have much of an impact because it was not in any kind of circumstance where he needed to come back in. And so, I wasn't overly worried about it at that point. I'm just saying, like, it is a unit that we have to watch for injury, not watch to make sure that they're doing okay holding up. Now, look, they helped out a little in that Raiders game. That didn't matter because Crosby eventually got hurt, and that's their only really good pass rusher. And but they built a really, really good and deep offensive line. It'd be pretty bad timing to have another injury on that line, in my opinion, because then you would be on your backup left tackle, a backup guard. And still, Kingsley, who has been very good, admittedly, a second-year player who is still learning a new position, in my opinion. So, I'd like to make sure that they're secure where they can be secure, because I feel like they could run into a game where a team could get to them if Trey Smith were to miss any kind of time. Now, again, I'm not saying that's there yet, but got dinged up in one, back problems can flare back up.
So it's not often that we play something from Colin Cowherd that's not usually picking some dark horse team to defeat the Chiefs or win the AFC West. But I thought he nailed his commentary on where the Chiefs are at and big picture NFL status, which is, hey, teams had a chance to catch up the first few weeks and maybe even in the offseason, and those teams failed.
I don't feel bad for the Chargers or Baltimore or Joe Burrow and the Bengals, although he's hurt this year. All these teams had a chance. Kansas City was 3-3. They didn't have Rice. They didn't have Worthy. This was your time to make up ground on them. But right now, Kansas City's not only back, I think they're better than ever. They have drafted so well. This is the deepest, twitchiest, most unique wide receiving core, the best play designer, the best distributor. I watched yesterday, and it was like Mahomes was in a baseball cap in the fourth quarter. It's like they pulled their starting pitcher after a great two-hitter, and he had a 6-run lead in the 7th inning, and he sat in the dugout and watched. But I don't see a hole. I said this a month ago when they clobbered the Ravens. Everybody said, oh, the Ravens are beat up. That's not what I watched. Right now, they just keep adding elements. And I saw it with the Rams in Jacksonville. The smart teams in this league, they miss on draft picks. They make mistakes. They get players hurt. They have 2 and 3 game slumps. But they course correct. They identify mistakes quickly.
It's all coaching. Kyle Shanahan a couple Thursday nights ago with the 49ers had Mac Jones and Sky Moore and Demarcus Robinson and all this, and they won against actually those Rams, by the way.
Yeah, they did.
But Sean McVay, throughout his tenure, has dealt with injuries to Matthew Stafford, and now he's dealing with one again with Puka Nacua again, and they found a way to win a game. Andy Reid has done that time and time again. I think it's a great point. There's the Ravens, who I think Harbaugh is still a pretty darn good coach, but They had a bunch of injuries, and they've, to this point, been unable to overcome that. We'll see. They're back after a bye week.
Apart.
They're 1-5. They're coming off a bye. They get the Bears. If they win that game, everybody will probably say, oh, here we go. If they lose, it's over for Baltimore. They'll be 1-6.
I think he already hasn't practiced early this
Lamar,
week.
Yeah.
So we'll see whether he actually gets on a practice field. Otherwise,
we're almost at the time of the year where Lamar has the random flu or just illness or whatever that no other quarterback seems to get.
I think it's inarguable at this point if you just look at every number, every metric, every conceivable thing. The Chiefs are not just deserving of being the favorites, which they are, heavy favorites. They are clearly the best team in the AFC, despite the one Bills fan who texts into this show pretty regularly, who lives in the Kansas City
I think
area.
that person's just trolling.
Because
they're just trolling.
He's got a 913 number, so I'm more
I think that
confused
person just likes to troll.
They are clearly the best team in the NFL. Because look at the Chiefs' schedule so far, and right now, the teams that they lost to are current playoff teams. Whether you take the Jags serious or not, and that game makes less sense as time goes on. The Chargers are in the playoff field. The Eagles are in the playoff field. So are the Jags. So they're losing to playoff teams, and they were doing it without their full complement of weapons. They started figuring it out before they got Rice. Then they got Rice back. So, if they started figuring it out before that and then balanced into it, I don't know who I should look at and say they're more talented top to bottom than Kansas City. It's been a long time since we said that. That's maybe the point on this. The Chiefs have the best roster in the AFC. I didn't think that going into the year. And I haven't thought that, and it hasn't been true for years. I think that now. Do you think that? I think they're the best roster in the AFC.
Baltimore before the season was the answer everybody gave. Before the season, everybody universally, I would say, would have said, oh, Baltimore, nobody's saying they're necessarily the best team, but roster, Baltimore, top to bottom. That's clearly not true. One, they're also hurt, but clearly just not true. They've got some serious deficiencies. Also, I think Derrick Henry has fallen off a little bit. We'll get to that during all 32. Buffalo definitely don't because of their defensive issues. And wide receiver-wise, it's pretty bleak for them. Keon Coleman has not developed into who they thought. That Chiefs pick getting Worthy instead of Coleman looks better and better every single week, and that's with Worthy missing a couple of games this year. Keon Coleman, I'm not saying he's going to end up not doing anything in his career, but he's been a massive disappointment there.
You might take the Chiefs' top 3 weapons before you got to a Bills one. In a blind draft of offensive weapons, I guess Cook. That's maybe the only argument. But running back doesn't matter. In a blind draft of offensive weapons, how long before you got to a Bills player between the two teams? They line up and it's Red Rover. I'm getting to Rice and Worthy and Kelsey probably before I get to a.
Yeah. Do you get to Hollywood before you, based on how he's played?
No, James
Keon?
Cook. It's Cook or Kelsey. It's either 3 or 4. Okay. I would take the tight end because I think running backs you can make work. Certainly in that scenario, but But if we blind drafted all the way to 10, is what, 7 of the 10 Chiefs?
And then go to
the
Colts. And I, as we said yesterday, I think the Colts, they have guys that are all playing their role, like a true team.
Yes.
Is it the best roster top to bottom? No, it's not. But
it's a very balanced
They're
roster.
6-1. Pittman knows his role, and Downs knows his role, and Warren has his role. Taylor, they well coached, true team. That's what the Indianapolis Colts are, to their credit, right now. And then in other potential teams, the Patriots obviously do not have the best top to bottom roster. Keep going. Pittsburgh doesn't either. Their defense has some deficiencies outside of TJ Watt and Hayward right now. So, yeah, I think the Chiefs absolutely have the case now, which was not something anybody was saying heading into the season. Even those of us that thought they were going to win 14 games this year did not think necessarily they had the best top to bottom. You said they have the best coach, they got the best quarterback. They'll make up for some of the deficiencies.
Because that's what they have been doing. I think they have the best roster in the AFC. And that's why I think they're the heavy favorite, despite the fact, as we pointed out in the show, they would not be in the playoffs if they started today. And I know that their schedule is not easy. The Commanders are a winning team. They've got them this Monday night. The Bills on the road too, right? Orchard Park's not an easy
Typically,
place to
it's a game the Chiefs lose. They beat them in the postseason. They usually lose the regular season matchup.
Then at the Broncos, that's a difficult defense. They've come back on 2 very good football teams. Or not one good football team, one bad football team. But they've come back multiple times in the fourth quarter, so they're not easy to put away. And then the Colts. Their next 4 games, and the Commanders really depends on the Jaden Daniels things. Look, if Marcus Mariota starts, their next 4 games is not a huge stretch. The 3 games or 4 games after this are. Because at Buffalo, at Denver, against the Colts, and at Dallas, that's a stretch. That's a stretch of 4 teams who can beat most teams in the NFL. You come out of that clean, well, then you've just told the rest of the NFL, it's been nice seeing you this year. I hope you enjoy your summer or trip to Cancun in February, because it won't be you heading to Santa Clara. It'll be us.
I think the part of that schedule that's different that we haven't seen in probably 4 years. And we don't know what advantage it gives them. So many times the Chiefs have had these early buys, and now they're for the first time, I think in 3 or 4 years, are going to have a bye week past the halfway point.
Yep, right before Denver.
Good
time.
Right after Buffalo. Great time. And knock on wood, fortunately, they are fairly healthy too. But that is from a energy standpoint and being fresh and all that, knowing that you've been going through season after season of really 20 games a year, essentially. The fact that the Chiefs finally have a year in which their bye week is not in the first week 6, 7, 8, is, I think, a massive boost and advantage for them. The Buffalo Bills just had their bye this past week in week 6. Not that they're going to be worn out by the time they play the Chiefs, but my point is, what does that do for them come playoff time? Last year, who was it that had because the Chiefs had the weird, funky schedule around Christmas. They had the early bye, but there were teams like the Texans and other playoff teams that had a week 12 or week 14 bye, and we were like, what the hell's going on? So this year, the Chiefs have something they haven't had before, which is a much later bye week, and I think that is going to really help them out come week 15, 16, and beyond.
It's certainly not a bad, as I would point out, bye week. There are better ones, but it is certainly a pretty good one. And so, yeah, I don't know. I look more and more at the schedule, and I feel better and better about it. But some of this goes back to, why are the Chiefs the favorite? Well, I don't know. Patrick Mahomes is playing at an MVP level. That probably has something to do with it, man. It's not that hard of a stretch to figure out. I'm assuming, and I have not looked at the MVP odds this week, now that we're through the games. Baker losing is going to push him further down the list.
It did.
Patrick Mahomes winning, and by a pretty sizable margin, I imagine shoved him. Did it push him into the minus category?
Not minus. No, not minus, but Josh Allen was on a bye, so he was, not able to put up any type of performance. So Mahomes is plus 125 now. So his odds have improved. Plus 125. Allen still has the second best odds at plus 350. He was tied with Baker before the week. Baker lost, so he falls all the way back to the fourth best odds at 9-1. Drake May is up from 10-1 to 7-1 with the third best odds. I still would rather put money on Baker at 9-1 than Drake May at 7-1.
Same.
And I think Drake May continues on an upward trajectory. We've talked about this even from like the nerdy sports card angle. I continue to invest in Drake May cards, and I believe long term he's going to continue to improve. I don't think he's winning MVP though this year. And as we said last week, Josh Allen's not out of this conversation at all.
Can I ask why Daniel Jones isn't a part of it? He has
22-1.
He's completing 71% of his passes for almost 1,800 yards, 10 touchdowns, 3 picks. He's running the ball well.
Probably for the reasons I mentioned earlier, which is
there some reason why he's not?
Yeah, the narrative and the fact that a lot of people are probably thinking it's the Sam Darnold thing all over last year. Remember, midway through last year, we're not even at the midway point, but midway through last year, Sam Darnold was an MVP candidate. Yeah, I think it was Carrington that was making a strong case. And I'm not saying it was wrong at the time.
Daniel Jones deserves to be in it right now.
But my point, I think that is why he's so, because people, it's the same thing. I don't think Daniel Jones at the end of the season will be playing at the exact same level. That's all.
What is Josh? Where is Josh Allen at again?
Second best odds.
Daniel Jones. So I went.
You're a Josh Allen hater. We ran into this last year with the MVP
I
stuff.
do have to admit this. I think that's true.
I do think
Daniel Jones has 400 more yards passing than Josh Allen.
He's played one more game though.
He has more yards per game by 20. He's 20 yards per game. He has about the same amount of touchdowns and picks. He has a significantly better QBR. It feels like Daniel Jones should be in that conversation, or Josh Allen should not be in that conversation as much, because if we're looking at total yardage, Josh Allen, Joe Flacco has as many yards as Josh Allen basically does.
If the MVP ended today, Daniel Jones would finish with a top 4 vote getter.
Yes.
Like
he would have
to.
So
the odds are reflecting the fact
season long
that they don't think it will maintain. If it ended today, Patrick Mahomes would actually win the MVP. Josh Allen would finish second or third, and Daniel Jones would probably finish next.
So they think Josh Allen's getting better because over the course of this season, he's really not been that great.
They still think Josh Allen will end up winning his division and being one of the top teams in the league.
Even if they win the division,
and this is also
he
not
hasn't
just
been playing that great.
And it's not even just it's not what FanDuel thinks. It's where the money also is coming in, right?
Sure.
Like, Daniel Jones at 22-1. Drake May is 7-1 now. More and more money's coming in on him. This can change in a hurry. Like if Daniel Jones, when they play the Chiefs, the Colts play the Chiefs in 4 weeks?
Yep.
If Daniel Jones throws up 350 and beats Mahomes, then
he's number one. He would have to be.
I don't know if he's number one, but he's going to be 5-1, 3-1 to win the award. So it'll all sort itself out. I understand. Like, by the way, Daniel Jones, same odds as Dak Prescott, who's having a great season too.
He's just on a worse team.
22-1, and we've talked about the divisional stuff. Jared Goff is 18-1. Matthew Stafford's 12-1. So it's going to be a fun one to watch. I get the Daniel Jones, hey, he should maybe not be 22-1. We all look for value, but I also still want to win. And I don't think Daniel Jones is going to be the 2025 NFL MVP.
I think it just comes down to, like, again, if the award ended today, people would debate Daniel Jones. They would put him in the conversation. He would get to be a part of it.
He's got the fourth best odds to be comeback player of the year. He's not even that. Dak Prescott is minus 105. McCaffrey plus 185. Aiden Hutchinson 5.5 to 1. Daniel Jones 6.5 to 1.
Hurt, was he?
This is the same crap as a couple years ago when Joe Flacco won it.
Can I say that I know you guys are on that side? I think it's more impressive to come back from being awful than to come back from like a knee injury.
But you're most improved then.
This is where I've said
you're not
they
coming
need to
back
do
from
what
anything.
the NBA does. You need to have a comeback player of the year award and a most improved player of the year because those are two different things.
But currently they aren't, and I just think I think it's actually more impressive to come back from being stinky and having played an entire year than coming back from a knee or ankle injury.
You shouldn't get an award though from.
Why don't we give an award from coming back from a knee injury?
Because you're overcoming something, not just overcoming being a crappy quarterback.
I think that's harder to overcome.
But that's not what the award is.
In fairness, Cody,
but you are overcoming something. Coming back from crappy is overcoming.
But Cody, to your point though, I think also you could recognize Shane Steichen and the Colts for being just as important to Daniel Jones' success coming back as anything else. It's not
sure, but that goes to everything. Like Andy to Mahomes.
It would make more sense if Daniel Jones was still with the Giants and was somehow better. That would be, I think, more of a, I guess, pass, if you will.
If Daniel Jones keeps playing at this level and Mahomes does as well, and it gets clear that Mahomes is going to win the award, you will have some voters that will give the sympathy vote for comeback player of the year to Daniel Jones. It'll be the same thing as the Flacco award. Now, at the time, the AP put out a whole thing after that happened and said, basically, you're not supposed to vote that way. But as we've acknowledged, that doesn't mean they can prove that I voted because of that. Like, they can't prevent me from having a vote on Daniel Jones. They can say,
but they
this
can
is the
take
correct
players off the ballot, though, right?
No, they cannot. That's the whole thing.
So they can't limit it to players who only got injured last year.
They can say, here's the voting criteria, but it doesn't actually prevent someone from putting Daniel Jones on their ballot.
Correct.
So somebody could say, theoretically, somebody could say Patrick Mahomes is comeback player of the year.
Theoretically, yes.
But nobody ever takes it to that.
I know, but
that's the extreme example.
You don't come back from mediocrity.
Obviously, that's an extreme example.
Christian McCaffrey and Dak Prescott are coming back from injury. Aiden Hutchinson. I don't think Daniel Jones will win comeback player of the year. To me, Aiden Hutchinson and Dak Prescott would be my two picks if they continue on their
I don't know why it wouldn't be
path.
Christian McCaffrey. I mean, he's been the best.
He's coming off
one
a
of
great
those
game.
guys.
He's coming off a great game. A week ago, I don't know if we would be saying it as much, but he's coming off a 200+ yard game.
I don't know,
he's coming off
he's
his
got
best.
number one wide receiver numbers.
Someone said Rasheed could make a case for comeback if Rasheed
is 100 to 1.
If Rasheed hangs 100 yards, if Rasheed hangs, if he gets to 1,200 yards a game, I think he absolutely should be in the final three.
And people are going to be like, what, coming back from
exactly. Exactly.
He's coming back from the injury, though, too. He's a tough case.
Yeah.
You're right.
Someone did say Flacco wasn't even just coming back from being bad. He was literally on his couch when he won it. Daniel Jones was still in the league. Anyway,
again, more impressive than, I hurt my ankle. The doctor fixed it. Now I feel better.
The NFL can solve this very easily. Most improved player of the year award and comeback player of the year. It alleviates any of this debate. All right. Up next, guys, let's get to what's trending. Then back into the biggest question remaining for the Chiefs and a little all 32 next.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Let's build your dream deck over at All Weather Decks. The right deck at the right price. It's that time of year where you can start thinking about your fire pit outside. Yeah, they can take care of that over there. Wood decks, composite decks, outdoor kitchens, 4-season or 3-season rooms where you want that like stretch into fall, that style, whatever your dream outdoor space. All Weather Decks is ready to take care of it as Kansas City's most respected deck builder and a 24-time winner of Angie's List Super Service Awards. You can see all the different pictures of their work or check out their showroom and find out for yourself what that project could look for you. Schedule that free estimate today by going to allweatherdecks.net and look at the reviews of their work, the reviews from customers just like you who have gotten work done by them, and find out what it looks like. I told you it's super easy. Go in there, describe it. They give you a great breakdown of here's what it would look like with this material, that material. Here's how we could do this area or that area. You can break it down as small or big of a project as you want and start dreaming up that dream outdoor space. Schedule your free estimate today at 913-206-1974 or online at allweatherdecks.net.
Kansas City, it's time to turn up the heat. The Westport Sunfresh is back and better than ever. Now proudly part of the Cosentino Food Stores family. We're celebrating with a re-grand opening you won't want to miss. That means 3 full weeks of hot savings on the freshest produce, premium meats, and all your grocery favorites. Come experience the new and improved Westport Sunfresh, your neighborhood store, now with even more local love. Located in the heart of Westport, only at Cosentino's Westport Sunfresh.
Smokehouse Barbecue has always been our choice when it comes to barbecue in Kansas City. We love everything about Smokehouse Barbecue. And now Smokehouse has street tacos, their newest menu item. 3 flour tortillas, chopped burnt ends and smoked sausage, plus corn elote and Cajun sour cream and a side. And now, every Tuesday, kids eat for $1.99 with the purchase of an adult entree. So visit Smokehouse Barbecue in Gladstone, Zona Rosa, or Independence, and at smokehousebbq.com. It's Smokehouse Barbecue.
Hey friends, it's noisy out there with information coming at us all day, every day. It's hard to know what to trust, and the world of wealth management is no exception. That's why UMB Private Wealth Management helps you tune out the noise and tune into what matters most. They'll create a financial plan based on your unique goals, so it's your voice that comes through loud and clear. Get financial clarity. Go to umb.com/private wealth to schedule an appointment. That's umb.com/private wealth.
It's football season and I can't wait for the games. And now I have even more reason to cheer on the Chiefs. I just head to Hy-Vee the day after any game and score savings at the pump with my Hy-Vee Perks card. Win or lose, I earn a fuel saver discount equal to the Chiefs score based on the amount I spend. If the Chiefs score 35 points, I save 35 cents per gallon when I spend $35 on groceries. The more we score, the more I save only at Hy-Vee. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
It's game day, and nothing says Chiefs football like the aroma of a tailgate grill. Kick off your pregame party with a Kingdom Meat Bundle from Hy-Vee. Get 4 boneless chicken breasts, 4 pork chops, 4 bratwurst, and 4 chuck patties for just $30. Plus, get a 10-cent per gallon fuel saver. Toss in some chips and dip, side dishes, and Chiefs-themed baked goods. Score the extra point with your favorite tailgate beverage from Hy-Vee Wine and Spirit. Just one stop for all your game day needs, only at Hy-Vee.
Hey Chiefs fans, Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Kansas City Chiefs. And this season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with the Crown Royal rig at a stadium near you, because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with a generous spirit. Visit www.crownroyal.com/royal rig for more on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
Hi there, I'm Charlie.
And I'm Carter. Our dad is Rex with Rex Buys KC.
If you're thinking about selling a home in Kansas City and don't know where to start, our dad can help.
Sometimes life throws curveballs, like moving for a new job, dealing with a divorce, or inheriting a house you weren't expecting.
Dad doesn't just make offers, he talks with people to help them understand all of their options. No pressure, and it doesn't cost anything to talk with his team.
He's a local home buyer who really knows Kansas City. If selling to him is the right choice, he'll give you a fair cash offer, and you can close on your timeline even in as little as 7 days.
He buys homes in any condition. No need for repairs, no fees, no surprises.
Just an honest, easy process so you feel good about your decision.
Want to talk to him? Call 816-330-6000 or go to rexbuyskc.com.
Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
O'Reilly.
It's Superstart Battery Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Get up to a $25 gift card after rebate with the purchase of select Superstart batteries. We'll test your old battery for free and recommend the right battery for your vehicle. For power, performance, and reliability, choose Superstart batteries only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/play.
Listen to the Chiefs and Commanders on Monday night with pregame starting at 4, kickoff at 7:15 with Mitch, Danon, and Kling right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City in Odyssey Sports Station. What's trending?
What's trending brought to you by Telly Tire and Auto Centers. Winning starts with a great drive since 1942. Telly certified techs have delivered complete car care with top brand tires and expert auto service. Keep your drive going. Take it to Telly. Visit tellytire.com today.
Number 1 on What's Trending, the World Series is set. The Blue Jays took care of the Mariners in Game 7 last night. That means we get the Dodgers and Blue Jays in the World Series Game 1 in Toronto on Friday night. The Dodgers significant favorites, as you would expect, heading into this series.
Well, I mean, I can't say that that's surprising on that end. I don't know. I guess I don't have it in me to root for either of these teams. I'm not going to root for the Blue Jays. They got the 5th highest payroll in baseball, too. Check out our guy, Vinny, who's apparently flying up to Toronto to start working on some of the coverage for them as well. So just for Major League Baseball in general. So, keep an eye out for Vinny. Give him a shout out. Tell him he's doing a nice job or that he looks good in his suit. Not give him a hard time like his guy Bobby Wood Jr. was doing, at least just a moment ago. This just in from Jeff Passan. Kurt Suzuki has officially been named the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim manager. Obviously, Albert Pujols was rumored to be in that role. Suzuki was just in baseball. He last played in 2022, finishing up a 16-year Major League Baseball career. He will now be the new Angels manager on that end, so it hadn't been that long. But Kurt Suzuki going to go manage the Angels.
NBA regular season starts. The long NBA season begins here on October 21st. Obviously, we were talking earlier about some of the favorites. The Thunder sitting at 2-1, the Nuggets 6.5-1, the Cavs 7-1. But tonight, if you want your NBA fix, if you've been waiting, you get the Rockets and Thunder a little after 6:30. And then the late game tonight, you get the Golden State Warriors taking on the LeBron-less LA Lakers. LeBron on the shelf.
He's got a major injury that's going to keep him out for a little
what did they say it was?
Sciatica or whatever.
Sciatica.
Sciatica. Wow, I was way
off.
off.
Had that while she was in.
You're good.
I do not know medical terms.
You're good.
Sciatica. My wife had it when she was pregnant.
Holy smokes. Wow.
It sucks. Nobody wants to have that. Next up on What's Trending, speaking of the NBA, former Kansas Jayhawk Christian Brown agreed to a 5-year, $125 million contract extension with the Nuggets, so he'll stay with Jokic at least for the time being. The NBA is really interesting with their contracts because they try to encourage players to stay with the franchise that drafted them. So he's able to get this contract as kind of a rookie extension as part of his deal with the Nuggets. I really like the way the NBA does it in that regard, Gold, because it does encourage you or encourage the possibility of staying there. It'd be like if the Royals could offer Bobby Wood Jr. more money than any team else in Major League Baseball could. Of course, by the way, Bobby Wood Jr.'s deal. You want to talk about looks like a steal a couple years later? That looks like a heavy discount, doesn't it? Vlad Guerrero Jr. got $500 million. Shohei got $700 million. You trying to tell me Bobby couldn't get more than the 280, 300 he got? Depending on how you look at the contract? Yeah, it'd be kind of crazy. That's all. Lastly, on What's Trending, Mike Evans has a broken collarbone, left the game early last night. Expected to miss significant time.
That sucks. He just came back, didn't he? That was his first game back, wasn't it?
Yes.
That sucks for him, man.
Left the game early. They said he broke his collarbone, and they said significant amount of time. Obviously, that's an injury that typically keeps you out weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. They cannot catch any luck there in Tampa Bay on the injury front, can they? When are they supposed to get Bucky Irving back? Igbuka came back. He had a chance to catch that touchdown when they were down 2 scores. Baker just barely underthrew him. Really good defensive play. But, yeah, says he'll continue to help the team. But they were, I think, broken collarbone. He's probably just done for the year, right? They just said it a significant amount
through
of time.
the year or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if they made a Super Bowl or something,
They said would mostly keep him out toward the end of the year. So, playoffs, maybe Mike Evans could come back. Maybe not, but they got to make a run, too. So, still a significant injury for a team that has probably suffered more significant injuries than any team in the NFL. They had a chance of being the number 1 offense in the league, man. Godwin, Evans, Igbuka, Bucky, Irving, Baker was playing at an MVP level, and just injuries, man. We'll talk more about some of the other teams in the league with all 32 coming up in just a few minutes.
Don't forget on Tuesdays, our lunch partner here each and every Tuesday, our friends over at Pearl Tavern in Lee's Summit. Reeling a deal every Tuesday at Pearl Tavern in Lee's Summit. $2.50 fish and shrimp tacos and $5 house margaritas made with premium Jose Cuervo silver. We appreciate their support of the show here on a Tuesday. We know the Chiefs favorites, as we said, for the Super Bowl. The offense seems to be humming along pretty good. Biggest question remaining for everybody on the text line, 913-586-7965. Because I think the biggest question is very obvious at this point, especially with the Norman Lott injury. It's got to just be the overall pass rush and the overall interior of the defensive line. And is there a solution to improving that? In-house, we all thought Norman Lott was that. I've mentioned Charles Omenihu to me as their best case scenario of getting more pressure on the quarterback outside of Karlaftis and Chris Jones. But the biggest question is, are they going to go out in the next 2 weeks and trade for a rotational defensive end or defensive lineman? That, to me, is the biggest question I have remaining right now for this football team, other than the obvious, which is Josh Simmons playing football again for this team?
Yeah, I mean, that is a huge, obviously, that is the single biggest question, and impossible to argue, at least on that end, Gold. But if we're talking about on the team, I asked this question mostly because, there can't be that many questions with the team right now. I think there are 2 big ones, the Simmons and the defensive line. I think that's more than fair. Can they get consistent pressure, or do they have injuries that they can't overcome? Somebody pointed out earlier a really good point about the Lions, where they overcame some injuries on the defensive line for a while last year, where you didn't notice it, right? They just kept losing body after body on the defensive line and continued to put up good numbers because they had one dominant force, which means, like Chris Jones, and were able to overcome some of them until it was just too much. Too much weight, too much, too many injuries for one man to carry, and then eventually he was hurt, of course, and they had no chance on the defensive line. I will posit one additional question mark, which I think is more than fair, which is whether or not in the long haul their defense is as good as it currently looks. And I know that applies to the defensive line, but I'm taking it a little more broad. There are still some moments where I'm like, I can't quite put my finger on the defense, and I'm not quite sure what they are yet. Doesn't mean I think they're a bad defense. I think we're long past that, Gold. I don't even think, but there is some part of the way they play, this bend don't break, this part where I watch them sometimes and I don't feel like they're as good as they were the last couple of years, and I want to see it in full. And I'm not even saying that is who they are entirely, but if you make me say what are the questions remaining, just how good they are on defense is a question that remains for me on this team. It is still something I wonder a little.
Yeah, and I think that some of that clarity will come on whether or not they make a move in the next couple of weeks, though, at the deadline. I feel good about their secondary. I know you're a little more skeptical, I think, on the secondary.
I like the secondary.
I think Jalen Watson has actually played very, very good. There was one game where everybody freaked out about Jalen Watson's performance.
Williams is what's been helping.
I thought Jalen Watson has continued to play very well. Noah Williams continues to get better. You know what you're getting in McDuffie. I feel pretty darn good about the back end of the defense. The question, the linebacking room is not, there's nothing that I'm all going to complain about there. Between Chanel, Tranquil, and Nick Bolton, they're pretty darn good there. And they should be, based on resources they've allocated. And then the defensive line, we get back to that. And it's, can Chris Jones give you more? And how does he give you more? It means Charles Omenihu steps up. It means maybe they go and get some outside help.
Yeah, I don't know how they don't. And look, one of the names I know has been coming up is Christian Wilkins, and I still don't know what the hell happened in Vegas or what the hell's going on there. So maybe that's part of maybe that's one of the available options to them. They can't ignore it. Like at this point on the defensive line, do any of us think that November 4th is going to pass and they will have added, let's not say the name that you're dreaming of, but do we think that they'll get to November 4th and they will not add a single defensive lineman into this rotation? I just have a hard time believing it. It's why, in a weird way, while it is a question, it is not a question I have. Simmons, honestly, if we're just putting it to the side, that is the single biggest question on this team. Is Josh Simmons playing football this year? And look, we don't have to bring it up every day on the show because there's no further development on it. There's not going to be. It doesn't seem like. We'll ask Nate Taylor. He joins the show at 1.
Yeah.
But at the moment, there's no further development on it. But whether or not your first-round pick and your starting left tackle to begin the year is playing football this season is the single biggest thing looming over. Because I will say, that does change the calculus a little bit on what you're willing to give up in the long term. If you have left, because if he doesn't play this year, well, then you have longer-term offensive line questions. It could change draft strategies for years to come. It has a big rolling impact, Gold, of how you handle your roster. They don't have a 1-year plan. Let's just figure out the next couple of months for Brett Veach. They got a 5-year plan.
Yeah, the biggest question, of course, is Simmons. I don't know if it changes how they approach the trade deadline because I don't think there's any player they're going to trade for that they're going to have to give up, a first or second round pick for. That name doesn't really exist. Nor should they give up. There's no player I want them to trade for that requires a first or second round pick. Like, absolutely not. They're not like the team in looking at the competition does not need to dive that deep into their resources of draft capital to go give up something for a player of that magnitude, even if one existed. So I don't think the Simmons thing plays a role in the deadline. It's more of a offseason question when they get more clarity on where things are really out with Simmons and everything and on the personal side of stuff. But the trade deadline to me should not be impacted by that.
It's just so weird to look at like Patrick Mahomes' season and the way this has gone, and they've been able to protect, and they're blowing people out. In the last 2 games, they've beaten down their opponents pretty badly. So we're not going to notice it, and it's not going to be a storyline for a lot of Chiefs fans, I think, because of that. Some of it is because they don't want to get into someone's personal business, the same as a lot of people don't want people in their business. But I think if you just separate it all entirely and you just ask it as a football question, no matter the circumstance, if there was just a player unavailable, I don't know how that isn't the single biggest question remaining for the team. What they do on the defensive line is interesting. Any more running back questions? That's another little toss in the text line's mentioning, and I see it over on YouTube as well.
I mean, I think they could get better at the running back position? Sure. I think now they view the offense and where it's at, they kind of view it as we got enough here to make it work, and we don't need to give up draft capital. As long as Hunt, Pacheco, and Smith stay healthy, I think their plan is that Smith gets more and more involved in this offense. And, yeah, I don't believe – we said this a week ago on the show. I don't think they're going to feel the necessity to go trade for a running back anymore. And that doesn't mean that I think they're just all good there. I just don't think it's to the level where they think it's a necessity. In the offseason, they'll have to make those decisions because Kareem Hunt's contract will be up. Pacheco will be up as well. They will have to either sign a player or two or spend a high draft pick or a higher draft pick.
I mean, you really start looking at it, and Patrick Mahomes, he's pacing, he's a part of the rushing game. He is on pace for 700 yards rushing this year. Look, would I like that number to come down? Hell yes. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. He's on pace for between 9 and 10 rushing touchdowns, depending how you look at it. Do I want those numbers to come down? Yes. Those are essentially Josh Allen numbers. Now, I have pointed out, Patrick Mahomes is not some small-bodied quarterback. He definitely can and is an effective runner of the football and does a nice job, depending on how you look at it. But it is a part of their game, whether we like it or not, and they have found what I would think, and should be considered, a pretty good balance. They've done a nice job finding a rhythm in the running game, and I would ask the question, which is, what would you like it to look like differently, I guess? How much better do you want the offense to be? They're scoring 30 points a game the last 4, slightly more than that, honestly. They're the 6th best offense in football, and that includes a start to the season that was slow due to the fact that Xavier Worthy was unavailable for a few weeks. Since then, they're the 2nd highest scoring offense in football, second only to the Colts. So I'm not feeling particularly bad about anything on offense other than, if people are coming back to play.
All right, little all 32 here on Cody and Gold. I want to go to a couple running backs. You just asked me about the running back situation in Kansas City. Two names that last year and for a while have been some of the best in football. Saquon Barkley, historically great a year ago. Derrick Henry, future Hall of Famer as well. Both having slow seasons so far, and I'm not suggesting that Saquon's not capable of having a 120-yard day still in his career. No, he definitely can, and maybe he has one this coming week. But is it overreaction, or do you guys buy into this that the dominant run of Barkley and Henry is coming to a close? That the carries have finally caught up to these guys? Last year, we know Barkley ran for 125 a game. He's running for 52 a game. Last year, he ran for a first down on 23% of his carries. He's doing that on 15%. He ran for 2,000 yards in 16 games. He's on pace to run for 896 yards. I could keep going. Touchdown pacing's down as well. Derrick Henry, they're barely using him, but he also hasn't been effective. He's got a fumbling problem. I'm just saying it catches up to everybody at some point in time. I think the dominant stretch of Barkley and Henry is over. Derrick Henry can go out and have a 100-yard game this Sunday. I'm not saying they're not effective running backs, but they're the best in the sport, and they can truly change an entire game for multiple games a year. I think that part is over.
I'll say this. I think it's more about usage this season before, and we see this a lot in running backs. In the sense that and I'm not saying every year to year, but like the year after he ran the ball almost 400 times and had 2,000 yards, the following year he only played in 8 games and only ran for 900. The year after he led the league in the NFL in 349 carries and 1,500 yards, he only had 1,200 yards the year after that. I think some of this is just Derrick Henry's ass gets tired every other year.
Well, he's
when
31,
they run him for
Cody.
400 carries a game.
He's 31 years old. Now, Saquon's 28, which in general you would say isn't that old, but for running backs, you're starting to get old. But Derrick Henry
was retired by 28.
Derrick Henry won. The team's not that good this year, but it wouldn't surprise you. I mean, he's about to be 32.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I got to think about the Eagles might end up being last year's Chiefs, where we don't take them serious because they don't look all that good a lot of times, but they're still better than most of the other teams. I go back through, honestly, this thing about Saquon is, look at the rest of his career, man. Because of the injuries and the other stuff, he's been a very good back sometimes. Sometimes this is who Saquon Barkley is. Like, I don't mean to knock it. Derrick Henry's actually been a little bit better in the history. He's had at least 3 other seasons of a yards per carry average around this. So it's not crazy to think that Saquon's just tired. He's a great back. I don't think they're just done. I think there's another dominant year somewhere along the way for Saquon. It might just not be this year. All right, so when teams fall apart, they start doing what Gold referred to before the show as Todd Haley things, Scott Pioli things, right? We've all seen bad teams who start doing things that don't matter in order to do it. According to a report over at the Baltimore Sun, following the loss to the Kansas City Chiefs, in which the Ravens got absolutely worked, the Ravens coaching staff removed several distractions from the locker room, including a ping pong table, cornhole boards, basketball hoops, and video game consoles, per the Baltimore Sun. Let me just tell you right now, I guarantee you they had all those things when they were winning 14 games and going to AFC title games. So if you think all of a sudden the ping pong table's the reason why your team's not succeeding, you've already given up on trying to help the teams in the way that actually require it. If you're, I think that is the most last ditch efforts of look in the mirror a little bit at your real problems. It's definitely not that somebody's on the PS5 once.
Yeah, this is what desperate teams do. It truly feels Todd Haley. That's what I said before the show. It feels Todd Haley, Scott Pioli-esque. Things are obviously a problem there in Baltimore. If this is now the issue, they think we got to focus more on football. No more fun in the locker room. It's a terrible idea.
We're serious now. Like, no, the sport's still supposed to be fun. Why do you think the Chiefs the last 3 years have spent? Their entire mantra has been, we're trying to make the game fun again. It hasn't been fun. We're trying to make it fun because we're all better and it's better when we're having fun. They're like, no ping pong anymore. Yeah, I'm sure they'll make Cooper Rush light it up this weekend because he hasn't been able to get his ping pong game in.
Not that I want to be there, but I'm also going to stay in Baltimore and talk about the Ravens a little bit. It feels like, so they're 1-5 right now. Lamar Jackson, we know, has not been practicing, or didn't practice yesterday. We'll see how the rest of the week goes. They play the Bears. They're favored still somehow right now this weekend. If they lose this game, I'm not a fan of tanking, but it feels like this is it. If they don't get this one this weekend, then should they just not play Lamar the rest of the season and not have to worry about the hamstring thing or whatever the issue is? Don't get him hurt. Just play out the rest of the season and try to make sure everybody's healthy going into next year.
I'll tell you right now, I would slow down his return to play. I wouldn't just flat out tank. They're a little too good of a franchise, been in too good of a situation. But sometimes these teams don't realize when you're as good as the Ravens or the Chiefs, the value of the very rare time gold that you're picking in the top 15, where you can get elite level talent that you are very rarely in access to. That's all.
It feels like, and I don't know if you guys agree with this real quick. The John Harbaugh thing, it is amazing how I think last year,
think he could get fired.
or earlier in the season, before the season, we ranked the coaches out, and John Harbaugh was like number 2 or 3 on the list for everybody, all 3 of us.
He was not number 2 on the list.
He was in my top
2
5
or
to 10,
3.
sure.
I think he was absolutely in the top 5.
somewhere in
If
there,
not,
yeah.
he might have been
No
even
doubt.
top 3 for all of us. But it's crazy how he was considered that, and I think now all of a sudden he could be getting fired. To your guys' point earlier, good coaches figure out the problems. And with that sort of a roster, I know they're dealing with some injuries, but with that roster still being what it is, you figure it out as a good coach.
Sports Talk on 96.5 The Fan is presented by Paramount Plus. You can't count on much, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL game live every Sunday all season long. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. Up next, we'll get to the random question of the day and the bigger threat for the Chiefs. Is it a team in Indy or New England? That's next.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Trey Smith. You're listening to Cody and Gold weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Schedule your home improvement project while the weather is still nice with Powell Exteriors KC. They offer easy financing, pay no interest until 2027, a 10-year workmanship warranty, and their extended summer sale. PowellExteriorsKC.com. The power of KC is Powell Exteriors KC.
Our Best Bank believes in the power of serving others. That's why we're committed to supporting those who serve our communities. We believe that all communities deserve a financial partner who cares. Our Best. We believe.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth a little more.
I'm worth a lot more.
I completely agree. You are worth more, and your car's worth more, and we want to pay more at GiveMeTheVin.com for good cars, because they are worth more, and so are you. And remember, if I don't beat the price on a CarMax or a Carvana deal, I'll pay you $100. For top price, trust, and ease of transaction, GiveMeTheVin.com, America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Chiefs. Everyone develops cataracts naturally as they get older. When your vision is affected by cataracts, you should see my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein at Silverstein Eye Centers. Dr. Silverstein is a world-renowned cataract surgeon who performs life-changing laser-assisted cataract surgery with premium lens implants to correct your vision up close and far away. Trust my eye doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein, Silverstein Eye Centers, 816-358-3600 to schedule an appointment.
Did you hear? Allstate car insurance now costs even less. So when you bundle with home, you can save even more. Check Allstate first to bundle and save with a new lower auto rate. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings may vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Man, I love seeing the old gang at these reunions.
Did you see Brian? He's in better shape than he was 25 years ago. How is that even possible?
Yep, I ran into him a few weeks ago and had to ask. He told me he started taking Nugenix Total T.
The testosterone booster?
Yes, it really works. I started taking it right away and I'm already seeing results.
I was wondering what you were doing. You seriously crushed me in that pickup game last week.
Yep, after 40, energy, strength, drive, it all starts going downhill. But with Nugenix Total T, I feel like my old self again. Stronger, leaner, and my energy is way up. My wife even noticed a difference in the bedroom. They're giving out complimentary bottles right now. Just send them a text.
Text HEFTY to 321-321 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster. Text now and you'll also get a free bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our most powerful fat incinerator. That's HEFTY to 321-321.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Another app for inventory, one for CRM. Oh, don't forget accounting. Wait, which login was that?
Or you could use Odoo, one fully integrated system that does it all without the hassle. Ditch the app overload. Get everything your business needs on one platform. Try Odoo free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Nobody had to tell your grandparents not to drive while using their typewriters. Why should it be any different for us kids and our cell phones? Distracted driving was the cause of more than 3,000 deaths in 2022. Come on, we're smarter than this. Let's put down the phones and focus on the roads. Drive safe, everybody.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
The technicians you can trust with your house keys. Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
Stay comfortable year-round with fast, reliable service 24/7, even weekends and holidays. Already invested in repairs? Save up to $4,500 on a new HVAC system. Schedule today at AnthonyPHCE.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Coming up in 10 minutes, we'll get to the random question of the day. Also, Nate Taylor from ESPN will join us in studio here in a half hour. A lot to get into with Nate. We'll ask him if there is any update on Trey Smith, any update on Josh Simmons, obviously, and look ahead a little bit to a Commanders team that appears to be banged up again heading into Monday night. Now, it's so early in the week that we don't know, and it sounds like the Commanders don't even know.
Armstrong no matter what.
Yeah, we don't know if Jaden Daniels is going to play on Monday or not.
Little disappointed we didn't have Vinnie Pasquantino, our VinFL insider, on after Woody Johnson spoke to the media. Did you see how well he handled his current situation? Woody Johnson, on his confidence on Aaron Glenn to turn things around.
Okay, owner of the Jets.
It looks like he's turning parts of it around. It's hard when you have a quarterback rating that we got. Quarterback with the rating that we got. So he buried his quarterback.
Man, there's Tua's getting buried by Mike McDaniel. You got Justin Fields getting buried. Dang.
I figure PFF has a great passing grade for Justin Fields and Tyrod Taylor.
How much you want to bet that Justin Fields' passer rating is somehow higher than Patrick Mahomes?
No, that'd be pretty funny.
Chance. There is zero
Are
chance.
you sure? Geno Smith had a higher passer rating for Pro Football Focus.
Higher grade, yeah.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Higher passing grade.
Higher passing grade than Patrick Mahomes.
I know, but I don't think for the whole season, there's no way.
Okay. You say that now. Patrick Mahomes, according to them, is like the 14th best quarterback. So, you know.
If he is better, then they need to just stop what they're doing.
Throw it into the trash.
Yes, and be
if
done
for
with
some
it.
reason, I don't have the... Because you have to have like the
premium or whatever.
Oh, well, never mind.
You mean you're not paying for PFF?
PFF Plus.
You're not paying for that?
No. But it does appear, because it's unlocked. Let's see. Patrick Mahomes. Well, it won't show me the exact passer rating, but it'll tell me where he is.
Be careful. You're gonna upset somebody that's scraping the data in their mom's basement that thinks PFF's gonna hire them. They might tweet at you. They might be upset. I had that happen yesterday.
Did they take him off the website?
Oh,
take who off the website?
I'm so confused.
Take
I'm
what?
looking at this list of passer grades, and I don't feel like I see Patrick Mahomes. Am I blind?
They had to go back and change it. You know?
They didn't change it.
They had to go back and figure it out.
Take him off the board?
There's no way they did that. There's no way they did that.
Okay, there's just no way. I was trying to do just like the the passer grade ratings sorted by number. And there's just no way, because it's locked out. I need someone with Pro Football Focus Plus. Can I sign up for can I get like a trial?
I'm sure they offer like a 6-day trial or something.
If they'll let me do a trial, I'll sign up, because I can't tell exactly where he ranks, and I want to know now. Because I selected, right, like top to bottom, and it shows the first 3 guys by passer grade.
The buck
Sam
stops
Darnold.
where you start after paying. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so it shows, like receiving or whatever else nonsense, right? So passer grade, offensive numbers, and it's shifting the top 3, but I don't think it's shifting anyone below. So I actually don't think
they only
it's
let you
showing
see the top 3.
Yeah. So I thought it.
They got to make money somehow, Cody.
I understand. It's a business. It's fine. I just can I get a free trial so I can delete it?
Don't pay for that crap.
I don't want to pay for it. I just want a free trial and then to cancel it. That's all. I'll try to find the grades later.
You guys see a little bit of the news in the NFL coming out in the last hour, according to Trey Wingo. Sources telling him that the Cowboys have made inquiries with the Raiders about a potential trade for Max Crosby.
Yeah, that makes sense. Again,
they miss Micah Parsons, Yeah.
I know for a fact.
You're going to trade away Parsons to trade for one. That's just great general managing by the.
I guess if it's the same draft picks, whatever, like just as long as you don't give up more than before. The acquiring team, according to SpotTrack, would inherit $20.3 million guaranteed this year, $30 million guaranteed next year, 29 in 27, 27 and 28, and 28 and 29. That's really not, sorry, that's a lot of numbers very similar to each other, but a little less than $30 million. It's actually not a bad number overall. Raiders wouldn't take on too much dead cap, $18 million this year, 5.1 next. I told you this yesterday. I said if there's going to be a team, like if the Chiefs need a defensive lineman, the star defensive guy's going to Dallas. They're a good team. They've got a good offense. They're a good team. They're awful defensively. And if they had, I don't know, a player like Micah Parsons, I don't know how they would ever have a player like that. But if they hypothetically had a player like Micah Parsons, they would probably be at least one win better. They might be near the top or at the top of the NFC East. So, yeah, they're going to make a huge trade. It's just funny to trade away.
Can turn into good decisions.
That's true.
Can you imagine you know how he would back it up that way too?
Yeah, he would.
You know what? Well, we got rid of Micah, but I'm saving some money by bringing in Max Crosby.
It actually would be cheaper than paying Micah. It's not.
If you're the Raiders,
that's
though,
how
you
you
do
would-
that trade.
Where are they going?
Depends on what they get, I guess.
Look, if
It's not about this year. I'm talking about like for next year. And
for
beyond.
multiple first, I would. What was Micah Parsons traded for? What was the exact
2 firsts and Kenny Clark, right?
I think that's right. I think that's right.
Yeah, you wanna hit me with because you got control. You wanna hit me with a couple of firsts? Sure. Yeah. Oh, okay. I mean, I don't want Green Bay's first. I want yours instead of theirs. But we can work it out.
I also don't think
Max Crosby's 2 years older.
Oh, okay.
Than Micah,
but he's cheaper.
Yeah. Yes.
And he's under control for 4 more years. I mean, the same amount of time you wanted to pay Micah, hypothetically.
I think the Chiefs also, the whole division would
The
be
Raiders
thrilled
are not.
if that happened.
Oh,
Yes.
Not only is Max Crosby gone, but you also can't trust the Raiders to make good picks there. They're going to waste him.
Yeah. I don't know. Does Max Crosby have a no trade clause? Do we know?
Maybe.
Can he dictate where he goes? I guess that's the only part that I don't know in this whole scenario. If he can, that changes whether or not he would want to go to the Cowboys.
I don't know. Why wouldn't he want to go
I would
there?
think he would
For the same reason Micah wanted out. I mean, the same thing.
He does not have a no trade clause.
Okay, so they can trade him wherever the hell they want. Okay.
All
All right, it's
he,
one to watch.
he recently got paid, though, too. So
I don't think
he'd be
it's
okay with
like,
it.
I don't know what, put a percentage on the likelihood Max Crosby gets traded. I'll put it at like
15.
40.
Oh, okay. I was even lower than you.
40%.
Sure.
And that might be high. Maybe 40 is too high. I thought, it's funny. I thought you were about to say, oh, he's getting traded like 60 or 70%. It's like 35,
don't
40%.
just let go of Max for the same reason Micah being traded was insane. Teams don't typically let go. Myles Garrett is still in Cleveland. That team's a laughingstock. He's complaining after the games, like, oh, it's so hard because our team's no good. You eat up 80% of the cap, dude. You could have played for any team. You chose to sign with Cleveland. I don't feel bad for you. Teams just don't trade pass rushers like that very often. We have talked about this before. That's why the Micah trade was so stunning and surprising to the teams across the league. Let's talk about the rest of the league as it sits right now. We had mentioned this earlier in the show, and I think it's kind of worthy of looking at. When we can take it to the whole AFC. Out of the AFC right now, which teams and in what order do you take the most serious to be threats for the Chiefs come playoff time? I still think, despite the fact I've not been overwhelmed by the way they looked, I'll allow the bye week to give them a fresh start and give me a fresh look at this team. I still think Buffalo has to be one. They have been in multiple AFC championship games. They have the reigning MVP. Josh Allen is still a top 3 quarterback, 4 quarterback, however you want to rank him. in the NFL. And for anybody who had Lamar random higher this year, certainly going to hurt because the injury and things ebb and flow. So probably second because Joe Burrow's not playing either.
Yep.
The second best quarterback in the league. I'll put them then. Then it's interesting because I think the argument is between the Patriots and the Colts, not Chargers or Jacksonville or Pittsburgh. Does somebody want somebody else besides that? Or do we think the two teams you would fear the most come playoff time besides the Bills? I think it's the Patriots and the Colts, which is an insane thing to say now, having known what I would have thought before the season started.
Yeah, Buffalo would still be one just because of the quarterback. It's Josh Allen. And it's weird. In Kansas City, you could argue, well, he's 0-4 against Mahomes, so why should you? But we all recognize who Josh Allen is still as a quarterback, and I know their defense is struggling. Buffalo is still the biggest threat to Kansas City, just like Buffalo should answer Kansas City is still the biggest threat to them. Indianapolis is not the number one answer. Indianapolis would come in number 2, but I'm still skeptical about even that. I could go like 2A, 2B, 2C if I had to after Buffalo as far as the biggest threat, because I'm still somewhat convinced that if Indianapolis gets the 1 seed and they get an automatic bye in a divisional round, okay, maybe. Otherwise, I don't think Daniel Jones is winning 3 playoff games.
You think it takes them being the number 1 seed?
Yeah, I don't think they're winning 3 playoff games. Daniel Jones and the Colts feel a lot like the Minnesota Vikings to me from a year ago, where dominant on offense, they're going to win 13 or 14 games, early exit in the postseason.
I think that's probably, I mean, I get it. Like, I understand at some point, like, how many games do they have to win?
The Vikings won 14 last year.
And
Sam Darnold was an MVP candidate for the first 10 weeks. Daniel Jones is on
and they came up short in the divisional round of the wild card.
They lost right away. Remember, they lost the division, too. They had a division that had the Lions in it.
That was the last game of the season, wasn't it?
And Darnold looked terrible the final 2 games as a Viking.
Who'd they lose to in the playoffs?
In the playoffs?
Rams, maybe?
I don't know. I know they lost to the Lions the final week of the season.
I think it was the wild card round. It was the first round. They didn't win 1 game. I get the comparisons. It feels, I don't know why.
I understand
it feels a little bit
different
with this team. I don't know why.
But like some teams do, I don't know. Some teams
it was the Rams, true.
Do go a little bit further depending. And like, I guess here's the other part. Who are the Colts going to face in those first couple of rounds that are like, they're, like in the Rams case, better coach, better quarterback. So let's say the Colts have to play. They're the 2 seed, not the 1. Which teams would they face in the wild card round near the bottom of the AFC?
Broncos, maybe?
That we think have a better coach, better quarterback. I mean, none, right? I mean, better quarterback, some. Better coach. I mean, it's like both. It feels somewhat low. Like, I mean, not like crazy.
Who do they face right now?
Herbert?
Well, the conversation...
Herbert and Harbaugh, would that be the argument?
The conversation now is hilarious because, again, the Chiefs aren't even in the playoff field, and they would be one of the last wild card teams. So it's
we know
it's
they're
hilarious.
going to be somewhere in the top 3
I know. It's just funny to talk about. I don't think the Chargers are going to get there. I don't think the Chargers are going to make the playoffs.
Text Line wants Denver to be a part of this conversation. Where are we on Denver? They're 5-2. Just came back against the Giants.
If the Chiefs win the division, then the Broncos are in that conversation.
Are they a bigger threat, though, than Indianapolis?
No.
I don't think
Bo
so.
Nix is not playing good football. No. They don't have offensive weapons, I fear. They have a defense, I fear.
Chargers and Jaguars are more likely the other 2, probably.
Jags, Trevor Lawrence.
Patriots, maybe?
No,
or Bills?
I just want to see what the Colts do Thursday. They play the Vikings this Thursday. It's 2 days away.
Chargers do, yeah.
Did I say Chargers?
You said Colts.
Oh, sorry. Chargers is what I meant. Chargers play the Vikings on Thursday. And if the Chargers do not bounce back after a terrible performance against the Colts and beat the Vikings, who might have Carson Wentz, might be J.J. McCarthy. I don't know if it matters at this point in time. They're both kind of a mess. They don't really seem like trust J.J. McCarthy. And he's also coming off an injury. If you have a Chargers team that wins that game, then I think everybody can calm down a little bit and they'll start getting healthier and they're still going to be in play for a playoff spot. If the Chargers lose on Thursday, they're not making the playoffs.
No, I would agree with you. I mean, if they win, I'm not going to come here and tell you gung-ho with my chest. They definitively are.
The jury's still out on the Chargers and Jacksonville. I know Jacksonville's looked good at times, but they also...
If the jury's out, the jury's in. There is no mystery, like with the Jags in particular, in the sense that I understand they beat the Chiefs. Teams can beat teams all the time. It happens. They got real flaws. And there's still a limitation with Trevor Lawrence. Travis Hunter hasn't become the star they needed him to be. They've just got problems.
Brian Thomas Jr. has been dropping passes everywhere.
The Chargers, their problem is the defense, which had a 1-year boost of superiority, is right back to what they've been the previous 3 years, which is mediocre. And now on top of it, their problem, part of theirs is, I don't think I would question the Chargers nearly as much if they were just healthy. Their massive offensive line problems are getting Herbert killed. And because of that, Herbert, who for the first 3 weeks looked like the league's MVP, the last 4 weeks is getting himself killed back there. And he's making mistakes. He's not handling the pressure well, like the physical pressure, not like the pressure of winning. The physical pressure well, and they just don't feel like they can overcome their injuries. Missing Hampton. They've been missing guys all season. He doesn't have time to throw. Their problems seem like obvious to me. The Jags are just like, yeah, they can play good every once in a while, but for the most part are kind of like whatever.
I know the Bills are obviously in that conversation because Josh Allen, but I wonder if the way the Bills defense has looked so bad, it feels like if the Chiefs and Bills played this week, I don't think it would be far-fetched to say the Chiefs win 35-20.
They play in like 3
21,
weeks.
just because of how
they play. Yeah, I mean they play a week from Sunday.
They're the 17th ranked defense this year.
Just because of how poor the offense has looked and how great the Chiefs' offense has looked, it feels like that game isn't going to be particularly close.
I don't know about Aaron Rodgers and Tomlin. They just stink of a first-round loss. Somebody says they do. They will say Tomlin and Rodgers is the Colts' first-round loss. As in, you could make an argument, right? Better coach, better quarterback.
But that means the Steelers
established team, those things.
So theoretically, the Steelers are the 4 seed then in this deal. Then,
yeah, no.
If the Colts are the one, if the Colts are the one, then the Steelers would have to play.
Yeah. I don't see how they play each other in the first round. I guess.
No.
How's that seeding going to play out? Steelers make the playoffs; they're winning the division, so they're going to have to be the. 4.
I think the Steelers will be a 4 seed, and they'll host 5 seed. I think Patriots.
And then if they beat them, then they'd play the Colts if the 2 and the 3, or if the 2 and the 3 win. I guess.
All we're doing in this conversation is describing what I believe is my dream scenario for the playoffs. If you're telling me there's like a Steelers-Colts divisional round, it's like, and that's the winner that has to go face the Chiefs in the AFC title game? Sure. Oh no. Like that would be the team that would stand in their way to the Super Bowl? Please. I don't think it's going to go. That's why the Bills are still one. And I don't even think the Bills are playing tremendous football right now.
Are they?
But they got a lot. I said aren't playing tremendous football right now. But they've got plenty of time to remedy that as a team that has a very, very, very strong.
Well, no, I was saying that you're saying they are still the biggest threat, you think?
Yes. How can they not be?
With Josh Allen, they're still a bigger threat against the Chiefs.
The quarterback gap from Josh Allen, from literally any of the other teams we just mentioned as a possible threat from Kansas City, is seismic.
Now
I understand. I think to me, it's the Chiefs' defense will do enough to limit Josh Allen where they're not going to be able to keep up. Like, I don't think Buffalo can keep up with the Chiefs' offense because of the limitations of Buffalo's defense.
Right. So if we're saying that
they can be the bigger threat.
If we're saying they're weaker than normal, we all agree. But somebody has to be the biggest threat.
I think
right?
it's the Colts then.
And I don't know. It's still Daniel Jones.
I know it's hard to say that.
Yeah,
but
and that's fine. Like, and this could be the outlier year. I am definitely just basing this off of history, and that doesn't always mean that's what happens. Daniel Jones going to Arrowhead in an AFC title game. I mean, give me a break. That's all. I'm sorry. Like that's just I can't get over that. I cannot get over that as I say that out loud.
And if I said Josh Allen,
Indy,
you'd be like,
I guess.
Okay.
What's that?
It could be the Colts going to Indy
or hosting in Indy. Yeah, if they're the 1 seed.
I don't know.
That sounds even less believable.
Chiefs fans don't want to remember that, though, the last time they had to do that in the playoffs.
Yeah, we don't worry as much.
Yeah.
I know.
We discussed those parts of our history.
Speaking of Mahomes, Cody, from the 913, somebody says, according to Pro Football Focus, Mahomes is number 25.
I hope that's not right.
I don't know how that's
true. I want to fact
but
check it before that's it. There's no universe in which they have him the 25th rated passer. I'm waiting for Nate Taylor to come in. He comes in 15 minutes. Seems like the kind of guy who might have a Pro Football Focus Plus subscription. So I'm going to see what Nate's got for us.
All I know is they do their initial grades and then they have then they go back and double check them. I don't know how all that works.
Well, I hope that they double check that one on Sunday and try to figure out how Geno Smith had a better passing grade. He didn't throw the ball beyond the line of scrimmage for the, 6 passes he completed in the damn game or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Oh, it was bad. Really bad.
Random question.
Random question of the day brought to you by Kansas City Urology Care at KCUC. Remember, you see the best in KC. Visit kcurology.com today. For you, Gold. For you, Drew. Over on the text line, 913-586-7965. And, of course, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook. We talk over on the chats over there. You can like and subscribe. See some of our exclusive content. You might have seen, was it you talking to Rashee Rice in postgame?
I was in a scrum of people. Yeah, Rice and Worthy.
We've got videos up of people in postgame. Rice being excited, Worthy with his giant grip, whatever it is. All that stuff always available. Exclusive content over on the YouTube and Twitter channels. The question I have for you today is about kids, but I think you guys can answer this as well. As somebody who gets stuff for his nephews, but has also been a kid, I think, Drew, in a time in which this was more thing. First, we had talked about the ad stuff earlier. The kids stuff, microtransaction stuff, it's my physical nightmare. I'm talking Robux. I'm talking V-Bucks for Fortnite.
Mm-hmm.
It is a horrible, horrible hellscape. So the question I have for you today is, how would you handle distribution of those things, knowing that they're going to ask you every day for them, but you're not going to buy them for them every day? How often do you think is a reasonable amount of time to offer a kid some Robux or V-Bucks? Are we thinking just birthdays and Christmas? Are we thinking there's an occasional sprinkled in the spring one? How would you guys handle it? I'm curious as a non-parent.
Yes. So you're saying basically you can buy like a $20 gift card so they can get these Robo-Bucks or whatever it's called.
Robux.
Sure, yeah.
Or V-Bucks, depending on Fortnite, which they're asking to play. So,
yeah, I mean, obviously birthdays and, Christmas or whatever. And then I don't know what else you do normally. Like, I don't know if your kids get an allowance or anything like that. If that adds up to a certain amount of money, then sure, you'll buy them another $20 gift card or something. But yeah, I mean, otherwise you're just
I'm not buying them 20 a week. They burn through it.
No, not a week. Not a week.
This is my issue. I hate them spending it at
Do
all.
they get like an allowance or anything?
Not currently, but we're working towards that. We've
so
discussed
whenever that happens, they can choose to use that money towards that if that's what they want. Otherwise,
can I make them save some? Because I don't need them throwing this money into the ether. The money spent on these things, my kids spend it so fast. It is like infuriating. Like if they get one for Christmas and they get like, let's say $25 from their friend.
Yeah.
The speed at which they spend $25 on digital nonsense, in my opinion. I know this makes me sound incredibly old. It is enraging how quick $25 goes.
I just think it would be based off of allowance or so whatever they give for doing stuff around the house.
So you're saying allowance based,
and then birthday. That's what they want for their birthday present. Then let them.
Yeah, birthday, Christmas. If they say that's part of something that they want, cool. I'm all ears. But if we're saying like regular allowance, I'm going to force them to save some. There's no way I'm letting them just spend whatever portion of allowance they get on this stuff every week so they can have a different skin for their Fortnite character. No, thanks. I'm not doing that. Because like you got to think about this. Like if either of you ever had kids, which version of this are you willing to do? The other part is like they've asked to play Fortnite, and I'm like, I'm really hesitant, and I'm trying to figure out how many things I can set up to essentially limit their ability to be on most of it, which is a whole nother challenge,
Drew, what do you think? You're now 30, so I don't know. Next thing you know, Drew's gonna have a kid. So,
wait, are you?
I
kid?
He paused. Wait.
No.
What do you guys know?
Did you tell something?
No, I'm trying to figure out how.
Congratulations, Drew.
I agree with you, Cody, in the fact that you're saying it is a little bit. You're realizing that you spend significantly more money than you would if because Roblox is free, Fortnite is free, but the amount of money that you end up spending is significantly more than what you would buy than what you would if you just bought the game for $70.
Somebody says over on Twitch they said show them something else they could buy with it.
I'm for what Gold is saying, and kind of like what you alluded to, where Christmas, birthdays, the allowance thing. Like somebody mentioned, hey, if you want to go outside and mow the lawn, I'll give you $15, in V-Bucks. I think that is a fair trade-off, if you will, for giving the V-Bucks.
People are saying you like a conversion rate, like 5. Basically, it's not the same dollar equivalent. Basically give them a smaller amount of allowance, but an equal amount in virtual money.
I borderline want to show them though how they're spending it. Be like, I want this, and I go, all right, we can either today buy a $25 V-Bucks gift card, and then show them a thing that is like way cooler for $25.
Then let them choose.
That might actually be between the two because it spins. They'll just play like a small little game where it's like, I take an obby, right? Where they're trying to like jump from thing to thing and see if they can do it in a minute or whatever nonsense. And it's like, I want to buy the magic carpet. It's like, you don't need that. Just, what a waste.
Someone says also you could just let them fail at spending their digital money. It's a good life lesson for them to learn, and they'll figure out how frivolous it is, just like when you spent a whole bunch of money on candy when you were a kid.
I mean, again, not great with my money as a kid. I do think like budgeting it out where like, here's your money, here's a spreadsheet, here's how you spent it. Here's the thing. I think each kid's a little bit different. My son would probably take that to heart, would be mindful, would think about it. My daughter would not. They've been raised the same way. Some of that is just a mental part of it. They both save money now. Yeah. My son wrote me an IO. He wanted 100. He knows I have cash at home, and he wanted a clean $100 bill. And he'd been saving for he'd spent some of his money, not spent some of his money, but he had $85. And he wanted 100. He's like, well, how do I get this other $15? I said, well, you can work towards it or whatever. And he's like, but I want it now. I want the 100 now. I said, you can write me an IOU. Pay me back. And so I've got a signed piece of paper at the house.
Cody's giving out loans to his kids. Cody's giving loans now.
Says, I owe you $15. He's like, oh, man. Hasn't spent a cent of it, right? Because he saves up. She spends her money faster.
It's so funny. So I have 3 nephews. One nephew, Cody, if he just had a birthday, and let's say he got like $200 or whatever for his birthday or however much, he's going to go out and spend it immediately. He might have already spent it. His birthday was last week, okay?
It might already
Whereas
be
the
gone.
other one will have hundreds of dollars from multiple birthdays saved up. So it's just different. Every kid's different like that.
What was the most amount of money you think you had when you were like, let's say elementary school?
As a kid, I was, I got to go spend it right away. As a kid, if I got $200 worth of gift cards for my birthday as a kid, I was going and I was looking to find out what I could go get at Best Buy or whatever. Okay, like
I don't know what I'm getting yet, but
that's
I'm
what I
going to
was.
spend
That's
it,
how
yeah.
I was as a kid. The opposite of one of my nephews.
Somebody said, Cody, that you need to just tell them to start competing in Fortnite events, and then if they come in a certain place, then you can give them V-Bucks.
I mean,
so it's encouraging
I don't want them
competition
playing
at
so
this
much
rate.
that they're winning Fortnite contests.
You can get an esports scholarship, Cody. You can save some money. This could be an investment plan for you. Save some money in the long haul on college if you're willing to spend some V-Bucks now or whatever it's called.
But at age 7, it feels like it's the same as like the parent as I'm trying to make my kid become A-Rod. You know, like I've got him in the cage 4 hours a night.
Wow.
You know, there's like a limit to how often. And you and I were both video game kids. I played a lot of video games growing up.
Absolutely.
And so I'm not saying like, but you know, you try to do better for yourself. My parents shouldn't let me play the amount of video games I played. We'd be in the summer. I'd be 15 years old. I'd play for 12 hours.
But
overnight.
but see, when we were we still went outside though and played in the cul-de-sac and stuff. And now you hear again. Now we're sounding very old.
Yeah, this show got old in a hurry.
No, Cody, you.
We're all 30 plus on the show now.
This is the thing,
Where
so-
our median age is getting higher and higher every second we look.
If they had microtransactions, Cody, back when you played video games and back when Gold played video games
I
and
imagine
I
I
played
would have been
video
asking
games.
my parents for it, yes.
Exactly. So I think that it's, if anything, you shouldn't necessarily, not that you're,
I'm not saying they're like, what's wrong with them for wanting it?
Yeah, exactly. It's the concept of the game has really made your pocket get stretched a little bit.
I'll be honest. The part of it is like, it never feels like they're spending their money. If I give them money for chores, it just feels like I've thrown $25 into a virtual Fortnite skin. I don't like it. It doesn't feel like their money,
fair.
even though I've given it to them. It feels like I got a 50-month budget for a useless item. I don't want
Because you know where it's going. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Somebody says they have, as per usual, they just have a subscription. For like $12 a month, you get 1,000 V-Bucks, you know, and
That
then
seems-
force them to budget out
into
the
a
amount
subscription thing now?
of things they get per month. In a weird way, man, it'd be
Now
easier.
you're spending over $100 a year.
Why?
on this,
Because you don't have to
guaranteed.
because
It'd be more than that because I got to do 2 kids.
Co-
I
Cody.
get $24 a month.
Wait,
wow,
Cody,
that's crazy.
Cody, is it better because you don't have to physically give them the card or physically go get the V-Bucks? It just comes out of the bank account and you don't have to worry about
I'll
it?
say this. Only way I'm on board with this is if they let me hold them hostage. As in, like, I make sure that they complete the items required to keep the subscription. You know, do your chores. That way you can keep your subscription. And then balance out how you want to spend it. One kid would probably last 20 days on his. One would last an afternoon. Like, it's just
There you go.
how it works.
Someone says, question of the day has evolved into Cody parenting advice. That is what
Not every
today's
day.
was.
Today's
definitely
for sure.
was. Up next, Nate Taylor might have some thoughts on this as well.
Yeah, for sure.
We're going to have our Chiefs insider from ESPN join us to discuss that. Also, the latest on Josh Simmons, Trey Smith, looking ahead to the Commanders game right here on Cody and Gold.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Is your garage door too loud and whining for help? Overhead Door Company of Kansas City will make it all better. They will perform their full 26-task garage door tune-up for just $79. That's just $79 for up to 3 garage doors and openers. You need this done once a year, so why not now? And for just $79. Call Overhead Door Company of Kansas City at 816-221-0072 or schedule online at overheaddoorkc.com.
Hey, Chiefs fans, Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Kansas City Chiefs. And this season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with the Crown Royal rig at a stadium near you, because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with a generous spirit. Visit www.crownroyal.com/royal rig for more on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming to Missouri. On December 1st, you'll finally be able to bet on all your favorite teams and all your favorite sports. With FanDuel, there's a ton of ways for you to get in on the action. You can bet everything from the money line to over-unders to which team will win it all. You'll be able to build parlays, bet player props, or even ride the live line. Whatever your style, FanDuel has you covered. Plus, with live betting, you can pick which player will score the next touchdown or the touchdown after that. However you play your game, FanDuel's got your back. On December 1st, you'll be able to see for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, there's a ton of ways for you to get in on the action. FanDuel, play your game. FanDuel Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we help this patient.
Hi, this is Doug. I'm a patient with Heartland Men's Health. I've been doing low T treatment for just under a year now. I've always dedicated my life to work. I've always found the time to go to gym. I'm 46 years old. My energy level has been on a roller coaster. With work, when we would have like long, stressful meetings, I would notice that I was very exhausted and drained afterwards. And with the low T treatment, I'm not as stressed. I started to feel a lot more level-headed. The roller coaster kind of went away. I think Heartland Men's Health, they really have it figured out. The professional staff, I think it's a wonderful treatment for men of any age. And it's definitely a benefit I'm going to continue.
Thank you. It's true. Your initial appointment includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Man, I love seeing the old gang at these reunions.
Did you see Brian? He's in better shape than he was 25 years ago. How is that even possible?
Yep, I ran into him a few weeks ago and had to ask. He told me he started taking Nugenix Total T.
The testosterone booster?
Yes, it really works. I started taking it right away and I'm already seeing results.
I was wondering what you were doing. You seriously crushed me in that pickup game last week.
Yep, after 40, energy, strength, drive, it all starts going downhill. But with Nugenix Total T, I feel like my old self again. Stronger, leaner, and my energy is way up. My wife even noticed a difference in the bedroom. They're giving out complimentary bottles right now. Just send them a text.
Text HEFTY to 321-321 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster. Text now and you'll also get a free bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our most powerful fat incinerator. That's HEFTY to 321-321.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Hey, it's Rashi Rice. The Chiefs Radio Network pregame show starts 3 hours before kickoff, right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
1 o'clock hour. It's Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Drew knows I love this. I know NBA's back tonight too, but in general, I love this because it reminds me of the Space Jam intro, and it was one of my favorite things as a kid. Baseball season is getting to a World Series. We've got NBA starting up. We got NFL in full swing, college football. It's a great time of the year. It's a great time anytime Nate Taylor is in studio as well, our Chiefs insider from ESPN. Did you know that it's Drew's 30th birthday today?
So we got to take advice from him in a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Uh-oh.
Let's get his mic on. There we go.
Wow. Look at that.
30 years old.
Yeah.
Congrats, my guy.
Thank you.
It's a nice climb until you get to about 36, 37, you know?
Oh, is that right?
So keep climbing, man. It's
All right.
great. Yeah. How you feel?
I feel good. My mom asked me, so do you feel 30? I was like,
no.
What's 30? What does that feel like?
Yeah.
I feel good.
No, I mean, you don't really start feeling things based on perspectives I've been told. Like, you don't really feel things until you're like 40-ish. Like, I do feel 40. I do feel 50. I do feel 60. So you're fine, man. You're in your prime, man. I mean, this is
to be 30
great.
again.
Yeah. I know. Like, it seems like you haven't done anything stupid, cataclysmically in your 20s. So.
Wow, he mows the yard without his shoes on and socks on.
He stopped that.
He should stop doing.
I haven't mowed the lawn since I've lived in apartments my whole post college life. But when I was younger, parents would ask me to mow the grass. I'd just go out there.
You were one with the
barefoot
earth.
sometimes. Yeah,
one with the earth. I wouldn't have imposed. It was tough when I was a kid and you were told that it's like you're up, like you got to cut the grass. You're like, dang man, this is before we had like AirPods kids. Like you have to have the big Walkman just like attached to your
We
hip.
blast the speaker, man. I would just like play it as loud as I could. And anti-skip 10 seconds my ass.
Right. That never worked. So you would have to sacrifice one of your shoes. Like that was like, okay, these are my mowing shoes. They're all green from about halfway up. And they're never coming back. They should never see the light of day. They should only be in the garage next to the lawnmower. So yeah, man, I lived that life. I don't know. Maybe you saved a pair of shoes.
And I've still got all 10 of my toes. So
I still do that with the shoes. Because of the super bone foot, I have to change tennis shoes a little more. I change tennis shoes a little more frequently now. So that they stay support. So the old tennis shoe becomes the mowing shoe. I just retired.
Yes, right.
Mowing shoe goes in the trash.
Yep.
Old tennis shoe becomes mowing shoe.
Yep.
New tennis shoes worn all the time. It's a rotation system.
Yeah, you got a starter. You got a setup man, and then the closer. He that's his final act, literally.
Yeah, that's it before he's in the trash.
We'll get back to your text though, and advice for Drew on what's going to happen. This top text I have to read, and then we can move to football. It just says, Drew, don't worry, man. Your cells aren't regeneerating as much. Essentially, you're dying very slowly.
Man.
Why you got to say it like that?
But again, he won't feel it. He won't feel it till like 36, 37.
I will say that I turned 35 in January. The metabolism absolutely slows down once you get to 30. That's a real thing.
Yeah.
That's a real thing,
man. But you start feeling it more and more with each calendar, each little turn around the sun, my guy. You'll start feeling it more and more. But at 30, I was still jumping. I was still chasing my kids,
What Cody just said about his foot, though, that's an old statement. He has to change shoes for support every couple months.
When
I'm trying to take care of it.
Right. Shout out to Grandma and Grandpa, right? We used to clown them. We used to fry them about having to take, like, so much medication that, like, okay, we need the pill case that distinguishes which day you take it. Guys, I'm 38. I have those pills. Also, I have that pill case. Like, here's Monday. Here's Tuesday.
We were begging for buying clothes and socks. I killed for some clothes and socks. Crazy?
Right. You're
Love
like,
some of that.
Thanks, Grandma. Another pair of socks. Now it's like, ooh, look at those socks.
Fresh.
Nice.
I feel like part of the transition to being an adult is when you start getting fired up over like an air fryer. Like, man, this is a nice air fryer. You start looking at the kitchen stuff
Espresso
differently.
machines, air fryers.
Yeah.
My Holly, God bless her, my wife is. I said, look, just give me Black Friday. Just give me Black Friday. But she wants a new fridge. Just give me come on, man. These are real purchases. Baby, look at what this oven can do. That's great for them. We are not a restaurant.
Yeah, last weekend I said out loud the sentence, "Ooh, that's a nice spatula," and I meant it. And I meant it,
I know
Nate.
exactly what you're getting at.
Don't start with spoons, Cody. Don't get him started about the spoons.
on big wooden spoons. Look, I mean, it's as you get wiser, you appreciate the finer things in life, man. And we can't go back. Holly will love this. You might want to clip it for her, Drew, but like there was a time, kids, where George Foreman was a godsend, was a backbone of my existence, right? Without George Foreman and his grill,
Nate doesn't live.
How in the world did I eat and manage on my own, right? And she still married me. God bless her. She would come by to the apartment in my early 20s, first job out of college.
They like you at that point in your life.
They really.
Something.
I know. God bless her. But just like, so what do you? Yeah, this is everything. Everything's been distilled right here to this George Foreman grill. I don't need the other.
That's great.
The other utensils, the other appliances. Nope.
Oh, I definitely was there for a while. I had like the Cuisinart thing, that little grill. I had the same thing for a while, man. Until you realize, what? There's better things.
Yeah.
Anyway,
like someone who's closer to professional culinary skills than I am.
Yeah.
Who I just happen to be related to by marriage.
Yeah. Someone mentioning places to go get refrigerarators for you, Nate. We'll fill you in during the break.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, as long as I got a Black Friday deal,
Someone says
I'm
they got
on
a
it.
50% off sale.
Right now? Mm-hmm. Don't tell her. Don't tell Holly. I'm trying to save money, guys. See, that's how they get you. They're like, we know Black Friday is like however many weeks away. What if we get you in the door
early
now?
Black Friday.
Yeah, what if we get you in the door now before Halloween?
We've got Nate Taylor from ESPN hanging out with us. Let's get back into some football here. The Chiefs, of course, 31 on the board, shut out the Las Vegas Raiders. Now I feel like even the biggest haters, at least on board, acknowledging that this team is a problem again. They are the outright Super Bowl favorites, yet they're not even in the playoff field if it ended this weekend or ended today.
Is that right? Based on last night results?
Because the Jags have the tiebreaker over them.
There's like four teams at 4-3. One's the Chargers, right? Who also have
the tiebreaker as well, of course. Now, after the game on Sunday, I was like, oh, this is cool. We're back on serve, guys, for tennis references. It's like, oh, you held your serve in your quote-unquote home game at Sao Paulo. Now the Chiefs will get their chance to hold serve in Arrowhead now that we are in a legitimate, a third through the season, a legitimate race for the AFC West. Shout out to the New York Giants who continue to pay dividends, I guess, all across the division. But yeah, in terms of moving forward, and as we get farther away from week 1 and week 2, this team is 4-1 in the last 5 games. They are averaging around 30 points a game. That is with the inclusion of Xavier Worthy into the lineup, and obviously, most notably, Rashee Rice having 1 game, not even taking all the snaps. I believe
he only ran 14 routes.
Thank you. I was just about to say he ran no routes with any sophistication. They just basically said,
"Get some work in."
Yeah, like let's start at rudimentary levels, and the Raiders are so bad they won't figure that out by halftime. So if these guys get better, which is what Travis Kelce said in the locker room, and I think that's the most interesting quote from the game beyond just like Rashee Rice's day, is that, okay, here's a guy who's in year 13. We know he's going to the Hall of Fame. He understands he's been through several different types of seasons. And Travis Kelce realizes, okay, hopefully, Trey Smith's lower back isn't a long-term issue. We will, of course, see what happens with the Josh Simmons saga. But if they relatively stay healthy and these skill position players can be on the field more times than not, which, of course, is not what we saw on Sunday, he can already tell in week 7 there's so much we could do to get better. And that was the first game we played, and we're already averaging 30 points a game through the last 5 games. So as we get further away from week 1 and week 2, those games are more anomalies, more so than the actual norm of who this team is.
I think what stands out, Nate, is they have blown out 3 of their last 4 opponents.
Correct.
Which we hadn't seen them really do almost at any point in the Mahomes era, because at the times when they were really scoring offensively, they were bad defensively.
Yep.
And then there was like kind of a balance where they were pretty good defensively, really good offensively, but it was kind of like an in-between. Last couple of years, they had to ride the defense, so games were closer.
Yep.
They beat up Baltimore. They beat up Detroit, a team that I watched last night.
I know.
Still looked pretty good to me.
Yeah.
Still looks like a pretty good squad.
Right.
And obviously the Raiders, they could have scored 60 if they wanted to. He took it easy on his boy Pete. They started kneeling with like 4 minutes to go practically, and just they didn't let Gardner Minshew throw a pass. He played the entire fourth quarter.
It's crazy.
And so
they basically wanted a running clock for an NFL game. Like, what's the best way we can have a running clock in an NFL game? It's insane. So, because the defense played 30 snaps, that was like a mini bye week. I'm not joking, guys. Like, they've had harder practices during the regular season than
they worked harder in a day in St. Joe
than anything that happened on Sunday.
I think my favorite stat was that Robert Tonyan played more than Chris Jones.
Yes.
Nate, you were there.
If you need any indication of how the game went.
And he didn't even touch the ball.
Nate, you were there. Chris Jones had such a smile on his face.
So
I
happy.
played 22 snaps or whatever it was.
Yes.
He basically got a half a game off.
So happy. So it's like again a mini bye week for them. They are relatively healthy, other than Omar Norman Lott. And so that's, they're small, which could grow into a bigger issue maybe later this season. But in terms of like the guys that you're relying on the majority of, downs versus starters and rotation, the defense has kind of gone under the radar. They had one, hiccup late in the game against Jacksonville. This might be a closer version of like the 2022 team, where the offense
very complete.
Yeah, where the offense leads the way. The defense is very supportive, will create a turnover or two. They can still, much of that 2022 season was us realizing how much Chris Jones was a closer in fourth quarters with the lead. Okay, I can pin my ears back and beat double teams and pressure the quarterback into an interception, or I'll just outright sack him to sort of end the last sort of threat on the scoreboard. So I feel like if they are trending the way we think they are, and I know we don't know about Jaden Daniels and his situation for Monday night, but if it goes away, I think we're headed. This team is starting to resemble that 2022 team. The slight difference is your draft class is not like supercharging this in the same way that like Karlaftis, Trent McDuffie, Brian Cook, Leo Chenal got so much better in the second half of the rookie season.
Is still playing dividends.
Yes. I mean, Isaiah Pacheco, he was basically a start. That's when he became a starter at this point. It was like around this time, ladies and gentlemen, in the middle of October when he took the job from Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So much of that draft class was like the secret ingredient, sort of the icing on the top. But this year, and it's unfortunate, I've thought about this last night. Again, Josh Simmons played amazing for 5 games. We have no idea what his status is. Omar Norman Lott, as I wrote on ESPN.com and alluded to this on Twitter, like he was going to start getting more snaps outright than like Jerry Tillery and Derek Nottie to expedite his progress. Well, now he's got the ACL tear. He's out for the season. Just a devastating injury for a guy who has dealt with a number of injuries this year.
How long until they start calling around on teams at defensive end or line, interior or edge? I think interior may be a slightly bigger need at the moment.
Correct. I would say Monday.
Okay.
You get another sample size with the games that have been played on Sunday. I think logically you can start making significant calls with like real intention behind them Monday before you play.
For the 2 and 5 teams who are like, no, we're not dead yet. You give them another chance to lose, that kind of thing.
Yep. You might check in now just to get a feel, but like nothing serious. I'd be a little bit more surprised if either side, was willing to initiate a trade right now, just because of what you said for maybe the teams that will eventually be sellers. But you have until November 4th, so there's no. It's not like you have to rush in order to get compensation right now from a contending team.
But the Chiefs
like
are going to add somebody, right? I'd be surprised if they added no one.
Yes, that would be the assumption. But again, I think the conversations for trades involving defensive linemen, primarily on the interior, would come around next Monday, hours before you play the Commanders. If you win, you can obviously follow back on Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. So yeah, I mean, again, you have plenty of time, but I mean, they really need, because of the Simmons saga, because of Omar Norman-Lott no longer being part of the season, they really need Ashton Gelati. They need him to hit for this particular season. And I know Noel Williams has a role, which is great. That's exactly what you asked for.
Yeah, he's doing it.
Based on where you took him in, the 4th round, I believe. We know Brashard Smith has a role, but right now, much of the burden falls, from a rookie class perspective, much of the burden falls on Ashton Gelati getting so much better between now and the end of the regular season. And that would be asking a lot, because the last guy who did that is George Karlaftis, who was taken in the 1st round, not the 3rd round.
Nate Taylor from ESPN joining us here on Cody and Gold. You brought up Josh Simmons there for a second.
Yep.
Here we are on a Tuesday. It once again feels like he's in line to not play for a 3rd straight game.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not on the NFI list, which would mean if you put him on the NFI list, you would be able to at least say, if you were the Chiefs, all right, he's not playing for 4 games, check back in 4 weeks. But it's becoming a weekly/daily thing because he's not ruled out for anything yet.
And he is, I don't want to put any pressure on the young man. That is not my role. I'm just trying to provide insight and information. I hope that cooler heads prevail and there is some level of communication sooner rather than later about him that is digestible for everyone. Because even today, my lovely colleague, Kaylin Kaler, one of our national reporters at ESPN.com, she is at the Fall League owners meetings.
Okay.
And I think I retweeted her a little bit ago, but she talked, stay with me here, but she talked with Clark Hunt for a few minutes, leaving one particular meeting from the owners before entering another meeting for the owners.
Okay.
He said, can't do it right now. So Kaylin then got back to me and said, hey, I'm gonna try to get him again after this meeting. Maybe we'll have a little bit more time. Maybe I won't, sometimes you jump out at people and you kind of surprise them and go, whoa, 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 whoa. And then you're like, okay, hey, give them a fair shake. Go back to them a second time. This is what Kaylin just tweeted like an hour ago. At the league meetings in New York City, just asked Chiefs owner Clark Hunt if he could tell us what's going on with rookie left tackle Josh Simmons. Hunt said, quote, I really can't comment, end quote.
Now, interesting.
Why?
The owner of the team can't comment.
Why?
Yeah, that's bizarre. I also want to go back to something you said that right away I'm sure caught a lot of people's attention. And I don't know how much you know more than what you said there.
Correct, yes.
You said, I hope cooler heads prevail.
Yes. Uh-huh.
That stood out to me. Any
As
more
in, like,
insight?
he's still not communicating with the team, or...
Okay, let me split some hairs, guys, to the best of my ability. And again, I need to check in what feels like every
couple of days,
every morning, every afternoon, every evening. So again, this is all still very ongoing. It's a tricky situation. Again, something that is very unusual. So again, I don't know what Kaylin and Clark, how long the conversation was. I just told you what Clark said, that he can't really comment.
Sure.
I'm assuming Kaylin wanted to say why, and then maybe Clark's just shut it down, can't do it, whatever. There has been some communication between Josh Simmons and the team.
Okay.
I cannot give you a great picture of what that looks like. Andy Reid, once again, yesterday said that it is a Brett Veach handling, which means it's more of a front office / ownership situation than, obviously Andy's involved, but
of course, yeah.
I understand Andy also has a professional football team to operate on a daily basis. As we've talked before, Drew Rosenhaus is Josh Simmons' agent. It is very unusual that he has not said anything definitive, not necessarily definitive, but given an indication, taken us from one rumor or one thing that I've heard and provided some level of clarity. Josh Simmons' family has not done that. Again, I don't know the exact reasons why. I have an idea. I can't confirm it because no one's been willing to do that yet.
Now, you mentioned the parties involved, Simmons, the Chiefs general manager, Brett Veach, Clark Hunt. What I noticed there, this is not a situation where the league at all is involved.
That's a great question. I actually should follow up this afternoon on the NFL. That's a great point. Because again, there's so many things, there's so many tentacles a part of this where you could say, well, you know, it's simple. And then somebody was like, no, it's actually quite complicated and complex. And again, trying to do right by everybody involved, trying to be a human being just as much as I'm trying to be a reporter. There's, you know, again, when does it become uncomfortable in a way that, like, you know, again, I want to be respectful, and I've reached out to some people and said, hey, you can call me at any time. It don't matter. Like, I just want to get clarity. Like, that is at the root of it kind of my job. And it's unfortunate that not only is he a really good football player, I know he's intelligent. I know he's very, I believe he wouldn't do this without some level of understandable decision-making.
Yeah.
That you're like, okay, even though it's tricky for you to want to tell me or even tell people in the organization, right? Like, I think people in the organization are getting updates small every day, every other day, something to that degree. Again, I've heard theories, I've heard rumors. I have not shared those, but but because of that nature, it's like, hey, I just want to do the right thing. I'm trying to do the right thing. I know there's a big, it's completely understandable for people to be like, why? Or what happened? Or like, can you tell us something so that we at least know how the young man's doing? And it's just, it's really tricky, man. It's like, I can't, somebody said, can you go to San Diego? And I said, well, I have my own family.
Yeah.
I got my own job.
Like, we can't just camp out in San Diego.
I don't know if ESPN will let me do that. But again, is he in San Diego?
Nate, we've asked,
shoulder shrugs.
Look, we've said this before, and I think you very much agreed. If Andy could coach football in a vacuum in which no one watched, he would still choose that job, right? If no one watched and nobody paid any attention,
he loves it.
And Andy could just
scheme it up. Yeah.
But he understands why we're asking, right?
Yes.
Like, I understand he is trying to diffuse and hoping by saying move on from it that we'll just leave it alone for a few days. But he understands that the team's first round pick and starting left tackle not playing
to the greatest quarterback
football.
We've ever seen, ladies and gentlemen. He ain't blindside protecting, no disrespect, Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
He's blindside protecting Patrick Mahomes, the greatest quarterback we've ever seen.
I guess
and he might be the solution to you guys getting back to the Super Bowl. So, like, and that's why you took him in the first round. Go ahead.
Is it like a 50-50 chance he doesn't play this year?
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
Okay, that's what I'm kind of.
Again,
I know you can't really answer that with clarity.
Yeah, right. I'm spitballing, but I just have to believe that, like, he'll come back to the team. Okay. I just have to believe that, like, as of right now.
Would they make him the starter right away?
That's usually not what Andy Reid would do. But again, this is unusual circumstances and territory. Hey, Jalen Moore playing just fine.
Playing very good.
So you can rely on the veteran. I mean, you don't have to rush any of this. Is what I'm saying to all parties involved. You don't have to rush this, but just give me. Like, again, whether you don't want it public, like, people have come up to me, like, legitimately smart people have come up to me and said, why didn't the team put out a statement? And I said, I don't work for them. Yeah. I don't know why. It would make sense. Yeah, but they're letting Andy Reid do it. And I think Andy has to know that when he says that phrase yesterday to us, Cody, you know the optics of that, right?
Yeah.
That makes it look strange in its own manner.
Yep.
To where, like, people on the internet, understandably, are like, well, now I really want to know what's going on. What do you mean you don't want to talk about it or you don't want to be asked? It's okay if you're saying that I don't want to be asked because I don't have an update. Cool. But, like, you also have to see what the same move on also has a different
way he said it to me,
connotation and a different, like, if, like, how am I supposed to infer that? Or how am I supposed to interpret that? And, like,
that's how where you looks. Would love. This is where, like, obviously nobody would in that circumstance in the setting with relationships and things like that. That's where you want. That's where you want to fall back and be like, you mentioned move on. Is the organization moving on from Justin?
No,
of course not.
You almost have put him in a spot.
No, I know they're not. But I'm just saying, if you're gonna tell us move on, like, well, are you guys moving on? Of course you're not. So then what the hell do you want us to do?
Right.
By the way, for those of you texting in theories, I see the theories. We're not gonna just like someone's like, guys, figure it out. It must be this. Look, We're not going to discuss the personal details of the speculation aspect of
Right.
it. Yes,
And
those theories, by the way, the theories you're texting in, we're not idiots. We're all, we're all aware of that.
We've either heard some of them or come to those, I won't say conclusions on our own, but we've come to some of those theories on our own. Again, there's not enough information to really hold on to much of either which one, either topic, whatever. So, there's a bunch of reporters in the league having these same conversations, guys. Professionals are involved. The last thing I was going to say is, okay, so we don't know where he is. At least I don't know where he is. Let me just say that. I don't know where he is. We don't know when he's coming back. Again, my belief is he loves football, and hopefully this all gets figured out, and he can come back to the team. And the team has not made any suggestion that they would not welcome him back. Right. Of course they would. They would like to probably help him based on whatever was going on before he decided to leave the team. That's what I can sort of infer in a number of conversations. The last thing I'll say about this is Andy Reid on Friday said, this is before they played the Raiders, ladies and gentlemen, and obviously he was going to say that Josh Simmons was out because he hadn't practiced because he didn't be with the team. Andy Reid said it was a family situation on his own, no questions. Then when he was asked about it, said, oh, that's right, personal. That's who we're dealing with, guys.
Yeah.
From a communicative standpoint. No one on the team has given any other comments.
That was weird.
The owner of your football team that you root for was asked today by a reporter that I'm sure he's seen and talked with a number of times. Because, again, Kalen's been covering the NFL, I believe, longer than I have. And Kalen Keller said, can you tell us just anything? And I'm sure there's some, massaging of, hey, give us an idea, even if you don't want to necessarily say it publicly, so that, again, we are better informed, da-da-da-da. The owner of your football team says, I can't really comment.
Nate Taylor from ESPN. I want to talk about the Commanders a little bit. I want to talk about the AFC West. We'll get into that next here on Cody and Gold.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Creed Humphrey. You're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Calling all Chiefs fans. You could be on the field at the 50 inside GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Visit Chiefs.com/GEHA now. Enter to win a chance to be on the field for a once-in-a-lifetime view of the pregame coin toss.
Call it in the air.
Plus, you can score other exclusive prizes. Enter for a chance to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is a proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.
It's football season, and I can't wait for the games. And now I have even more reason to cheer on the Chiefs. I just head to Hy-Vee the day after any game and score savings at the pump with my Hy-Vee Perks card. Win or lose, I earn a fuel saver discount equal to the Chiefs score based on the amount I spend. If the Chiefs score 35 points, I save 35 cents per gallon when I spend $35 on groceries. The more we score, the more I save only at Hy-Vee. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
It's game day, and nothing says Chiefs football like the aroma of a tailgate grill. Kick off your pregame party with a Kingdom Meat Bundle from Hy-Vee. Get 4 boneless chicken breasts, 4 pork chops, 4 bratwurst, and 4 chuck patties for just $30. Plus, get a 10-cent per gallon fuel saver. Toss in some chips and dip, side dishes, and Chiefs-themed baked goods. Score the extra point with your favorite tailgate beverage from Hy-Vee Wine and Spirit. Just one stop for all your game day needs, only at Hy-Vee.
Hey, Zach, are you smiling at my gorgeous canyon view?
No, Donald. I'm smiling because I've got something I want to tell the whole world.
Well, do it. Shout it out.
T-Mobile's got home internet.
Whoa, I love that echo. T-Mobile's got home internet.
How much is it?
Look at that, Zach. We got the neighbor's attention.
Just $35 a month. And you love a great deal, Denise.
Plus, they've got a 5-year price guarantee. That's 5 whole trips around the sun.
I'm switching. Me too.
Yes! T-Mobile home internet for the neighborhood.
Donald, you still haven't returned my weed whacker.
Carl, don't you embarrass me like this, please.
What's everyone yelling about?
T-Mobile's got home internet. And Donald's got my weed whacker.
Yes, T-Mobile's got home internet. Just $35 a month with auto pay and any voice line. And it's guaranteed for 5 years.
Beautiful yodeling, Carl.
Taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com/ISP for details and exclusions.
The NBA is back. It's NBA tip-off week, and FanDuel is your home for live betting. So even if you miss tip-off or you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything. For who's going to score next to a fourth-quarter comeback. You can even combine your bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at an even bigger payout, however you want to play. Now is the perfect time to join. FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 wager wins. So all you need to do is visit FanDuel.com. Use my promo code KFNZ to sign up today. Fall is here, so celebrate the return of basketball season with our friends over at FanDuel. Play your game with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issue. Non-withdrawal bonus bet. Price 7 days on the street. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement. Kansas Star Casino LLC. Gambling problem. Get up with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
At LendSeek, we know running a business takes heart, hustle, and sometimes a little help. That's why we stand with you with our exclusive AI lending platform, connecting you to over 100 funders. If you've been in business for at least 2 years with a minimum annual revenue of $500,000, you can get up to $1 million in funding in as fast as 24 hours. No collateral, no prepayment penalties, no red tape. Apply today with no cost or obligation at lendseek.com. That's LENDSEEK.com.
Think about it. You take thousands of steps every day. Shouldn't every single one of them feel amazing? Well, with Arch Fit hands-free Skechers slip-ins, they can. Skechers teamed up with podiatrists to design a shoe that provides amazing arch support for all-day comfort. And best of all, you get all this comfort, stability, and support with the ease of Skechers slip-ins technology. Just slip them on. There's no bending down and no struggling to tie your shoes. Just step in and go. Try Arch Fit hands-free Skechers slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever comfortable footwear is sold.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Chumba Casino brings non-stop fun straight to your screen. Anytime, anywhere. Explore hundreds of games like slots, blackjack, and instant scratch-style cards. Sign up to unlock your free welcome bonus and daily login bonuses. And enjoy your chance at exciting prizes without spending a thing. Just click, play, and enjoy the ride. Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in a state where it's legal to play.
Now that I'm a dad, I can't stop thinking about what would happen to my kids if something happened to me, like losing the house or not affording college.
Yeah, that used to keep me up at night too. It's why I finally got life insurance from Ethos. It's 100% online. No medical exams, just a few health questions. I got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day.
I never realized it was that simple. Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Rates may vary. Bill monthly. Sample rate 10-year term life policy for a 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male.
The technicians you can trust with your house keys. Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
This busy season, enjoy home comfort without the stress with fast online booking, reminders, and real-time updates. Save up to $2,000 with federal tax rebates with a new HVAC system. Schedule today at AnthonyPHCE.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Back here on Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Nate Taylor from ESPN hanging out with us as well. I will point out just some NFL news during the break. Adam Schefter, a colleague of yours, reporting that Carson Wentz will start again for the Vikings against the Chargers on Thursday night. There was some speculation that they would go to McCarthy, and then is he still hurt? Or are they just not really wanting to go back to him? Who knows? But Carson Wentz will start for the Vikings against the Chargers.
You got to start developing that young man. But again, he's also got to get fully healthy.
He does.
With the Thursday night game, you do get the mini bye week from that weekend, so
I'll say,
man, take this beating.
Well, I mean,
the Chargers are going to win on Thursday, right?
I'll say that's what.
I would hope so.
Are you all the way out on them?
That's
where's that game being played?
L.A.
I'll just say right now.
You would think
if they lose on Thursday, I'm writing them way the hell out.
But they
done.
can't. I mean, their defense. Again, I know they've had injuries on the offensive line, which can kind of explain some of the up and down play they've had. What's going on with their defense? Again, I've watched the games, but I'm not sure if I'm like dialed in.
No pressure.
I need to, obviously
coverage. They have bad secondary. Or questionable secondary, I guess.
Yeah, I remember the Chiefs being like the things we were gonna do to them, because they thought much of the game plan was going to be relying on Xavier Worthy, which would open up things for Travis Kelce. I mean,
that actually looked pretty accurate in retrospect. I mean,
right.
Not like way off.
Right. I mean, Hollywood Brown had a very good game in Sao Paulo once he understood, like, okay, my role needs to be increased.
16 targets or whatever.
Yeah, my role needs to be increased.
16 catches.
Taquan Thornton, that was his first signs of like, okay, everything we saw in training camp of the preseason is legitimate. So yeah, I mean, they couldn't tackle a lick Sunday. I know Jonathan Taylor's really good, but guys, there's a thing called angles and pursuit and rallying to the football. They couldn't do it. So who knows? I mean, Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson will get open. The question is, will Carson Wentz have time to deliver it? Because that was the issue against Philly.
He missed on several passes in which those guys were.
But hey, when you're getting hit, you're going to miss a lot.
You think the Broncos are the biggest challenger then, or back to that before the season?
Stop.
You think it's the Chargers still?
Stop it.
Who's the team in the AFC West to worry about?
Who has a better quarterback?
Yeah, the Chargers.
Now, here's where it gets a little thin, razor thin. Who has a better coach?
Yeah, I don't know.
Great point. So I commend Sean Payton for still getting his guys to compete at a high level to where, Pete Carroll's fellas were down double digits in the third and fourth quarter and said, you know what? Pack it up. I'm ready to go home, coach. So I will commend, and again, that's a home game versus a road game. So again, I commend the fact that the Broncos, hey, you give us an opportunity back in the game? Okay, we're going to take it. We're going to get Bo Nix in rhythm. He can start to run around because you got to drop back more than usual, which is different than being on schedule. I thought the Broncos defense would be better than this. I really did. I thought the best unit that I could rely on in the entire AFC West was the Denver Broncos defense. And I just watched Cam Scatterboo, God bless him, and Jackson Dart, who really doesn't know what he's doing, but he's so talented. I really hope he has like a Josh Allen sort of trajectory where it's like, yeah, remember that first year Jackson Dart where he was just throwing it, doing crazy stuff, had no idea how to play NFL football. And then, hey, because maybe with the help of Brian Daboll, he'll actually grow into like, a pretty valuable quarterback. I mean, you're giving up too many points to that group. I'm just being honest. Like you just giving way too many points to that group. Man, that's tough. I'm really thinking about it now. But I know the Chiefs have the Broncos circled. Point blank. 38-0. We ain't never gonna forget.
And they've got him coming out of a bye.
Correct.
Which historically, Andy's been very good. It's not undefeated after a bye.
They are a circled, marked team on the Chiefs. Just 38-0. Because again, we saw how much. This is a good reminder. We saw how much Andy Reid said. You know what? We have 28-0. I don't need to pull out anything. Hey, we moved the ball down the field. That was a nice little drive. Let's get Harrison Butker some work. Hey, he made another field goal, clean sheet. And you saw after that, shut it down. Shut it down. Now, they scored 28 points on the first drive of the third quarter. And I know it was the backups. And I know if you win, you get in. But Sean Payton didn't do what Andy Reid just did. Okay?
Absolutely not.
And Sean Payton knew Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo couldn't really do anything because, we are contractually obligated to be out here. I believe they're a marked team.
Good.
They are a circled on the calendar team.
Is Trey Smith going to be all right? You believe Andy? I know after the game said nothing serious, but they were definitely working on his back throughout the third, fourth quarter.
Trey is one of the most durable players on the roster when you look at when he entered, from the moment he entered the league. Could he have played more? I think so. But again, just be smart, take the precaution, get a bunch of treatment, rest, do the right thing. You get an extra day in terms of the practice schedule this week because you play on Monday night. So their first practice, ladies and gentlemen, won't be until Thursday. So even if he's limited Thursday, that's okay. Like, you got out, you moved a little bit, and then you want to slowly get ready for the game on Monday night. So unless something changes, I think he'll be in the mix to play and to start. I know people were a little bit worried about Jawan Taylor popping up on the injury report after the game. He is fine.
That's just, hey, man, veteran. It's 31-0.
I saw him after the game. He's fine.
I do think
you know what? We should get Wanye Moore some snaps right now.
Like, we were just talking about it as it relates to the Ravens, because there was a report from the Sun that, like, they took away the ping pong table stuff. And I'm like, oh, that's always the worst sign. When they start taking away the game table.
They're not robots, guys.
I know. The way I view it is, for 3 straight years, I think the Chiefs were like, it was almost like being in a bad relationship where they're like, I'm going to fall back in love with this person. They're like, we're going to have fun. This is going to be fun. And the Chiefs were having a hard time with it because the offense wasn't fun. It was a slog.
Correct.
The reason why they feel so unbeatable right now is because how loose they are acting as a unit. They are 4-3. Their record's nowhere close to what they want to do. And they look like they're having a damn party. They look like they couldn't be having more fun. And not just because they beat the Raiders multiple weeks in a row.
Yeah.
They just seem like everything's like, oh, no, we're dialed in now. And you're all in big trouble. And we're going to have fun again. And the little things like Patrick Mahomes saying, this effing play never effing works. And then snapping the ball. Or any of the nonsense.
A very Raider-specific play call.
Oh, yeah. The ringer.
Very Raider specific.
The, like, Rosie, when they did, like,
the Arctic Circle, yes.
Yeah, they did that one against the Raiders, too. They love doing that kind of stuff.
They really do. Like, I was like, oh, so you've been practicing that for weeks. Oh, now you reveal it. Cool. Very Raider specific play. That's a great point, Cody. They saw a very talented Detroit Lions team and said, what's your identity? Toughness? Oh, okay. We'll just do that. We'll just do that today. And, hey, we are arriving to the stadium for one reason and one reason only. Everybody got to eat, and he's finally at the table, he being Rashee Rice. So as soon as we get in the red zone, we're getting him the ball. We want to get him moving and grooving. We got to get him in the end zone as fast as possible. All right? Cultivate that, culture that teams talk about of getting guys in the mix and everybody feeding off one another. Hey, there's a deep pass to Travis Kelce. All right, get out. It's like, oh, there's a deep pass to Tyquan Thornton. Get out. Hey, there's a touchdown for Hollywood. Get out. They're just, it is like a rolling, there is a snowball effect to it over the last, 2 weeks. I even think one of the more significant moments of the season was Pat throws a pick 6, which again would have short-circuited half the quarterbacks in this league. Because it was in the second half of a game. Yeah. It's in the second half of a game. It is a raucous environment. It is Jacksonville's first primetime game of truly mattering in like years. And a lot of quarterbacks would have been like, oh, smokes. What? Oh, I got to go down the field again? And Patrick went, okay. Take a deep breath. Not going to make another mistake. Okay, you know what? We'll even punt the ball to you. All right, get my things in order. And then he went right down the field, right down their necks for a touchdown. And then they said, hey, here's the game with 8 minutes left. Go win it. Cool. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go right down the field against a pretty decent defense and score a touchdown. And we'll put the ball back in Trevor Lawrence's hands and say, hey, can you outdo that? From the moment he's thrown a pick 6, he's been excellent. Like, if
you erase that pass from your memory, he's been excellent for 3 straight games, 4 straight games.
Yes.
Like, borderline mistake-free.
He made one mistake in Jacksonville.
Hey, Nate, I will ask, since you're talking about Patrick Mahomes, you have access to Pro Football Focus Plus, to my understanding?
Here we go.
Where is Patrick Mahomes in the Pro Football Focus passer grades? Is it good? Is it like second?
Why are we doing
Is
this?
it like third? Where is he amongst Pro Football Focus's passer rating grades?
Let's do this. I shared this with the fellas before one of our segments here. Now, Sam Darnold's grade has not fully come in yet, based on my understanding.
Okay. They're gonna wait.
But entering Monday, he was the highest. He had the highest passing.
And
grade.
they had a great game, so he's probably stayed pretty high.
Matthew Stafford, pretty good. Dak Prescott, slinging that thing. It must be really nice to have.
I wouldn't even if you had told me he was after those guys.
Behaving well.
Yeah.
Now here's where it gets tricky, guys. Drake May. God, what a coaching job Mike Vrabel's
he's
done.
doing a great job.
And it's really cool to have Stephon Diggs back to being like top four.
Yep.
Justin Herbert. Okay. Josh Allen.
He has 6 picks and has thrown almost many more. Okay.
Josh Allen, who we all know the grading system is slightly slanted towards his advantage.
It is.
Jordan Love.
Okay.
Jalen Hurts.
You haven't said his name yet.
Hey, I'm not done either. Jalen Hurts.
You haven't said
Daniel Jones, who's playing well. Jaden Daniels, he's a little bit of an incomplete because of the injuries.
Sure.
Mac Jones, bit of an incomplete.
Mac Jones.
Baker Mayfield. Now this is where it gets crazy, guys. Kyler Murray has a higher passing grade than Patrick Mahomes.
I'll just tell you right now, Nate. My issue with this, before you listen to any other
I'm serious.
My issue with this is
Nate, he got hurt.
If my test, whatever, right? The class I got to teach tonight. If my test showed that, I'd say, treat this like the scientific method. We all just sit in a lab in college.
Right.
If your test results bore out that Kyler Murray is a more efficient passer of the football than Patrick Mahomes,
get out of my
I'd be
face.
changing my work.
Yes.
Something got to change. It's not right.
You know what's even more hilarious?
Yep.
Again,
is he after Kyler Murray or is there more people?
Okay, Baker Mayfield, his 7th game is included in this. So, let me refresh this thing real quick. So, what's even more hilarious is, and we know Baker Mayfield's a highlight machine.
Yeah, sure.
Baker Mayfield has a 89.3 running grade, scrambling, running, trying to be efficient. Shout out to Spencer Rattler, limited sample size.
He's got a passing grade.
And then Spencer Rattler has the same running grade as Patrick Mahomes. It's like 89.1. Baker Mayfield's at 89.3. So again, we're splitting hairs, but and this bears out statistically. So that's where it's like, okay, well, the grading system is actually in line with the metrics where it's like, okay, who's been the best quarterback when they've had to either call design runs or scramble out of the pocket based on down and distance. Do you convert? Do you actually help the team move the ball down the field? Baker Mayfield and Patrick Mahomes have been the best at it this year. Lamar Jackson, before his injury, was doing it at an elite level, but he doesn't really count because he's kind of an incomplete grade based on the injury. But when it comes to passing the football, PFF loves Sam Darnold.
Again, it's just they're turning me into, and I don't know if anybody watches this show, Righteous Gemstones. They're turning into Baby Billy. Go outside, nerd. I got time for your worthless chime-ins. That's what it starts to feel like. Nate, I am a believer of analytics. Golden Knife talking about the show.
Correct.
I believe the numbers can tell us underlying things about a player. I'm just telling you that if your algorithm, your grading system, if your system thinks this about Mahomes, it is wrong. It is an inaccurate system.
Bo Nix is closer to Patrick Mahomes. He's still below Patrick Mahomes, so
got that going for us.
But Bo Nix is closer to Patrick Mahomes than Patrick Mahomes is to Daniel Jones.
You know what, man? I just don't know.
And by the way, Daniel Jones is throwing into the lightest secondary looks because Jonathan Taylor is incredible.
Yeah, he's a beast. Gold said earlier he thinks that Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley might have just hit the pinnacle, and now things are going to start backsliding a little.
And not that they can't, Saquon Barkley will have a 100-yard rushing game again this season.
Right.
But the idea that they're going to just be dominant backs and a major problem every single week, I think the carries caught up to Saquon from last year.
Right.
Derrick Henry is also 31. I mean, at some point it's going to hit him.
And the fumbles are just something you could not have foreseen.
Yeah, I just watch. Derrick Henry this week might go off for 125 yards. I'm just saying that Saquon's pacing for 800 and something yards rushing.
Yeah. Well, last year it was clear that the Eagles had the best offensive line. That is not the case this year. And I think the quarterback has both done each running back a disservice. because Jalen Hurts couldn't throw the ball to A.J. Brown, and I know this specifically because he's on my fantasy football team, I actually benched A.J. Brown for several weeks and still
Hopefully you start him this week.
I waited one too many. Oh, look, I had to see evidence. Hey, are they still, it's like, is A.J. Brown, is he still good? That's what I was asking myself. So, I think that was a reflection of the quarterback. It was like, hey, we're not getting the ball to A.J. Brown enough. We're not getting the ball to Devontae Smith enough, which means, hey, man, here's eight defensive players. Yeah. Good luck, And by the way, we have to use the tush push so many times because we're not able to convert the way we used to on earlier downs. For Derrick Henry, man, having the threat of a really good Lamar Jackson was great. Yeah. And now you got hurt, and now it's like Cooper Rush, and what are we talking about? Actually, put 9 in the box against him because Cooper Rush can throw the ball, but like consistently,
and they don't have the kind of weapons you just mentioned with like A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. They don't even have that advantage.
Yeah, they have Zay Flowers.
Flowers, good wide receiver, but he's not either of those guys.
Correct. So it's again. Some of it is quarterbacks and injuries, and hey, the offensive line isn't as good as it was last year. I think you could probably say that about the Ravens too. I'd have to look at that from a pass rush, pass blocking win rate for these teams. But I think the offensive lines for each team has gotten slightly less effective than a year ago, which obviously leads to better running back production. It's
an interesting time in the league. It really is a wash. Yeah. That's why everyone so quickly was ready to crown a team that wouldn't actively be in the playoffs as the number one team in the that's what it is. Yes. It's like everyone else looks around and you're like, okay, the teams who have really good records, it's like, well, they're led by Daniel Jones. So, like, I got to be cool there. And then the teams that, like, have good quarterbacks don't look the same. Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, etc.
Right. I just saw Sam Darnold kind of crash out in weeks 17 and 18. So,
and that's what I think, that's my theory on what the Colts will be this year.
Well, there's a lot to suggest that because the question for the Colts, as much as I love their success, and it's really nice when the Colts are good, because of the Peyton Manning, the Andrew Luck era of it all. Obviously, did you see their owner before the game or after?
She's heavily involved
towards the end of the game.
She's heavily involved.
I mean,
that new. Yeah, got the headset on. She's listening to plays.
Like, ooh, new owner, boy. It feels real good. And my team's winning. Dog, she about to be bedazzled out. Okay, and I say that in the nicest way possible.
I feel like